Hey, everybody. Let's get this debate started. Tonight, we're asking, is the Earth flat or is it a globe? So, allow me to introduce you guys to our debaters tonight. Over here, we've got Guillotine and NEETPride on the globe side. And of course, Witsit Gets It and Nathan on the flat side. We'll start right out with the um, Globe gentlemen with your opening statements. We'll do 10 minutes each team, and then we'll go into open discussion. Uh, Globe, the floor is all yours.
Globe Earth skepticism is ultimately derived from a lack of trust in the scientific community. And I get it. I agree that science is a liar sometimes. And NASA, in particular, has a motive for trying to obfuscate reality, namely the moon landing. But I think Globe Earth skeptics are throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I think a lot of Globe Earth skepticism is due to NASA being sketchy. For example, common thing I see in these debates is the fact that the pictures of the spherical Earth provided by NASA are artificial composites. NASA even admits this. Let me just share my screen real quick. So
Chat saying no sound.
no sound from me.
Okay, sorry. We're gonna go.
Basically, all these Globe Earth skeptics, they can smell there's something fishy going on with these Globe Earth images, or just a lot of information coming out of NASA. But their explanation for these discrepancies requires way too many assumptions, given all the other observable data that we are not getting from NASA. And I think it is so important to keep this moon landing charade going that I suspect the recent popularity of flat Earth can partially be attributed to a disinfo campaign. It discredits, you can discredit, in quotes, discredit any moon landing skeptic by associating us with globe Earth skeptics. As a moon landing skeptic myself, I can confirm that. What are you? Some kind of flat earther? It's usually the first thing people say when I state my position on the moon landing. Like it or not, ridicule has always been an effective mechanism of control. As far as I'm aware, there is really nothing to be gained by propagating the globe Earth theory. Maybe you can correct me on this. But there is a clear incentive for NASA to propagate flat Earth theory. It muddies the discourse and provides a convenient way to dismiss any skepticism about moon or hell, where those billions of tax dollars go. Bottom line, I think globe Earth skeptics are unwittingly doing the deep state's bidding. And yeah, it's my intro.
All right. I think it's my turn. Can y'all see my slides?
Yep.
Alrighty. So Tonight, I'm going to be presenting kind of two different sections. The first is just evidence that the Earth is not flat from your observation. I'm going to be doing four different things here. Can y'all hear me? Y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
Yep, you're good.
Okay. So first of all, talking about we do not see Polaris from anywhere above the equator. You can only see it when you are above the equator. From southwardly of the equator, you can no longer see Polaris. And when you're thinking about a flat Earth, it doesn't make any sense that a star that is at the center of the night sky for the middle part of the world, somehow the outer part of the world, when they're looking toward that same center, they're not seeing the same star. Doesn't really make much sense. But so observations of Polaris first. The second, rotations of stars in the northern versus southern hemisphere. Just as a quick little clip here. I don't know how loud that is, but basically these are these are observations of stars in the northern versus southern hemisphere, Arizona in the top left and Australia in the bottom right. And as you can see in the northern hemisphere, they're rotating counterclockwise, whereas in the southern hemisphere they're rotating clockwise. And so the difference in that apparent rotation would not be evident on a flat Earth. Next, observations of shadows caused by Mount Rainier. As you can see in these many different photos, Mount Rainier is a massive volcanic peak. It's located near Seattle in the United States. And so on clear days, the peak dominates the horizon and thusly causes this shadow where during the sunset, a shadow shows on the clouds. Something that wouldn't be possible if you have a flat Earth model where the sun is always rotating above the clouds. And then lastly, we have videos of 24-hour sun in Antarctica, where you have somebody. Sorry, I'm just trying to get to the part of the video. So you have somebody showing a watch showing that they're tracking the time throughout the entire day, and that the sun is there for the entire day. Which, if you have a sun rotating around a flat model, again, doesn't really make much sense how the sun is shining on only the outer rim, but somehow not in the center. This is called Frozen South Antarctica 24-hour sun 4K. If you want to look more into that video. Next, just evidence that the Earth is a rotating oblate spheroid. So just trying to use the technical name there, basically that the Earth is spherical. Unlike my compadre, I do want to present at least these photos of Earth, many of which were taken by NASA. The first photo in the top left here, this was a part of a time-lapse movie reel, which showed the curvature of the Earth hold on, I'm trying to up here. It was taken by V2 number 13 suborbital space flight, and that was taken in 1944. The second picture to the right of that, just one from that's from 1966, is the first picture of both the Earth and the Moon from the Earth's orbit, December 11th, 1966. Third one, the one to the right of that, first full disk pictures of the Earth from a geostationary orbit, also on December 11th, 1966. And then the last three are first full disk image of Earth from space taken by a person, William Anders, on December 21st, 1968. Number five in the bottom left is the Earthrise image. That's December 24th, 1968. And then number six is from the Apollo 17 mission, December 7th, 1972. So all of these photos come before the development of Photoshop in 1987 by American brothers Thomas and John Knoll. These are basically before the time of Photoshop. And while my compatriot here may not entirely like this, while I understand the flat earthers might not like that, I do see these as evidence. Next is just different engineering feats that took Earth's curvature into account when they were being constructed. So the Humber Bridge, each tower on the bank of the Humber is 36 millimeters further apart at the top than at the bottom, which is how they took account of the curvature of the Earth. Number two, the Verrazano-Narrows Bridge, because of the height of 693 feet, the distance from each other being 4,260 feet, the curvature of Earth's surface was taken into account. Towers are not parallel, but are 1 5/8 inch farther apart at the tops than at their bases. And then LIGO, so LIGO's arms are long enough that the curvature of the Earth was taken into account when they were being constructed. Over the 4-kilometer length of the arms, the Earth curves away by nearly a meter. So yeah, these are just interesting examples that I thought. And then lastly, just the results of a ring laser gyroscope. So ring laser gyro basically works by shooting two lasers which hit the mirrors, and when there is a delay in one of the lasers reaching back to the detector, basically that's how you would tell that there is a drift. And when you use these lasers, as famously Bob Nodell did in his 15 degree per hour drift video, or in the Netflix documentary about Flat Earth, he showed that there was a 15 degree per hour drift using a ring laser gyro. So yeah, that's basically it for me. My ultimate question with this stuff is always just kind of why is this something that people get into their head? I don't really understand it in a time where science has advanced so much, and yet we still have what I would at least term kind of arcane views of the world. So yeah, that's the end of mine. Well, basically, sorry, my last point being that personally, I think it comes down to on the one hand, religion, on the other hand, wanting to be a part of a group that you kind of think of yourself as being different from the system. And while that may not be true for everybody, those kind of seem like the two primary reasons for me. But yeah, so that is all.
Thank you very much. We'll definitely explore those questions with the flat side in a second. First, I just want to tell everyone thank you very much for coming out to check out this debate here, Modern Day Debate. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. We are so close to 125,000 subscribers. It would be amazing if we could do that right here, right now. Don't forget, if you guys want to see some debates live, including Mr. Witsit Gets It, go down in the link below, get your tickets for DebateCon 4, November 4th. It'll be very exciting. Team Flat, the floor is all yours.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Do y'all see this is pulled up now, right? It's my slides. Is there a way I can make the oh wait, minimize? Where's my mouse at? Did my mouse disappear? Okay, anyway, I'll try to do it without it here. Okay, so our side here is about the flat earth and why that is true. And so basically my approach here with this opener does tie a little bit into my opponents here about how a biblical earth lie can be pulled off. So it's pulling off the literal worldwide deception. And so to put it in context, the earth scientifically is planar over water with the 4 lights observation and does not move according to the MMX, the Michelson-Morley experiment. Our shared reality, regardless of what a math or majority says, is empirically still and fixed. We are on the ground, therefore we can access the ground and perform tests and experiments on the ground, impart conditions upon the ground, and etc. among our interactions with the ground and water. Once reality is measured and there is a mismatch betwixt the observed results and what is taught at public tax dollar expense in academics, it is reasonable that one might ask, who is deceiving? Who could trust? how could trusted elites dupe, and why would they lie? So our experiments show, and relativity confirms, a stationary Earth. We observe flat water over open bodies. So then you get to this conspiracy component of it, which is real. There has to be someone who's lies. So the first thing is, who is deceiving? And so anyone who knows what the science demonstrates, yet claims a globe, is deceiving. Honest people are not deceiving. Honest people who sincerely think they know, quote unquote, the Earth is a globe, are not liars, deceivers, or malicious in any sense. Humans could lie to one another on a lesser burdensome claim and rip people off to effect. The one who stands to gain from lying about the shape of the world would be evil. And if one believes a particular figurehead of evil, that loser of an entity stands to gain from a lie of such a magnitude, especially if they are trying to be like a creator in the sense of owning their own cosmology. They might even put their number as a signature of their cosmology. The plumb bob upright of an angle is 90 degrees. If you subtract the Earth's 23.4 degree tilt, you get 66.6 degrees. Earth's orbit of the sun is at 66.6 thousand miles per hour, and there is 0.666 feet of curvature per mile traveled upon an oblate globe with an equator of 24,901 miles of circumference. Those are their models. And so here you have a King James Bible verse, which does say, and we know that we are of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness. So there are people in positions of power, is the claim. And so I can't really get rid of these side boxes on my screen. So they're like, all of our pictures are in the way. But I have here kind of some pictures laid out. So you have NASA, which actually looks like a snake's tongue. And if you look at a cursive T, that actually looks like a cursive T a little bit. It might be a little bit of a stretch, but that does give you an anagram for Satan, which is Satan. If you look at the dollar bill symbol next to it, and you spell out, you draw this triangle pattern, you capture the eye, which is a religious symbol of evil people, and some evil people like Satanists and Luciferians. And then it points to Mason, and it's kind of more known now that DC was set up by Masons. There's a pentagram and everything, the obelisk and all that, which actually right next to that picture, I do have a picture of the obelisks. There's one in London, one in DC, one in Rome. These are city-states separate of their country, but they rule over the people. Down underneath the NASA logo with the snake, you have a picture of the Rothschilds. They're a banking family who they party pretty strangely. That's their house party from 1972. And they get into some stuff with like the goat you can see there. They have bird cages and whatnot, dismembered baby dolls. They're dolls, but they're on like the tables scattered about. And you can see right next to that a picture of Will Ferrell, who is in horns, antlers, white, there's that creepy girl with the mask on his right. This dude's covered in blood with a bunch of people in masks and cloaks behind him. And underneath that picture of Will Ferrell, you see another picture of Will Ferrell. And what that is to the left, he's at an event hosted by Marina Abramovich. She is there speaking at the Rothschild Foundation lecture. And so she is promoting these art parties and stuff. These are elite, powerful social influencers of our culture. So to the right of Will Ferrell, you have Marina, of course, holding something with horns, some sort of bull. To the right of that, hopefully y'all can see it, it is Jay-Z dancing with Marina Abramovich. And under that picture is him wearing a shirt that says, "Do what thou wilt." So to get further into that, how this gets here is in the middle of this screen on the top, you have probably the biggest loser who's ever existed. That's the Baphomet. There are, regardless of anyone's views of religion, if you're Christian, if you're atheist, if you're Buddhist, there are people out there who do worship a devil and do believe it very sincerely. And so then to the right of that, you have someone who was a very high-ranking Mason, Manly P. Hall, and he talks about when you get to the high levels of these degrees, you are going after the seething energies of Lucifer, which is the light bearer, the deceiver of the world, who would be able to pull off this sort of a deception. And underneath that, you get Buzz Aldrin, who is a Mason. And actually, too, I have a little picture there of Buzz Aldrin. He was actually at the last Bunny Mansion. I don't like that company, but he was at the last party that was ever held there. a very damaging place to a lot of men and males. But he was at that party, probably hard to get there, but that ties in later with some of this other stuff. So if you go to the left side, you have of the Baphomet, you have Jack Parsons, who, well, actually in the picture, that's Aleister Crowley, who wanted to be called the Baphomet 666, wanted to be the most wicked person ever, did a bunch of vile things, has written books about terrible things. And he actually taught Jack Parsons, who started Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which is a part of NASA. And it says right here, Jack Parsons studied in the bottom left there, he was a Thelemite occultist, which was started by Aleister Crowley. Under there, too, you see the Beatles, who actually had Aleister Crowley in their album artwork. And you see today, Lil Nas X has the Satan shoes, the drop of blood, which is a witch spell, the pentagram, the Bible references. To the left of that, you see Warner von Braun, who started NASA, Project Paperclip. He actually has a biblical reference on his tombstone to literally cap him off. He started NASA. In the bottom right here, you also have a picture of the 3 astronauts in the Apollo mission. They don't look very chipper, even though they just accomplished the greatest thing in mankind's history. And right above that, you see a bunch of astronauts supposedly on the ISS just flashing up a sign, which happens to look like some horns, which to Satanists, that's a real symbol for them. So then I have here videos.
Total credit.
Whoops. This is Timothy Leary, who talks about the counterculture.
CIA, total credit for sponsoring and initiating the entire consciousness movement, counterculture events of the 1960s.
Battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right.
War's detestable.
Everybody's wrong.
Not needed.
I've been an admirer of Elvis Petroli. I think that I'm carrying on the work that he started 100 years ago, and I think the 60s themselves. Crowley said, "Do what thou wilt."
So there he says it, do what thou wilt, ties it to Aleister Crowley. And then here we get Neil Armstrong, who gives this speech. Cryptic.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President, Mr. President, members of Congress, fellow astronauts, ladies and gentlemen. Wilbur Wright once noted that the only bird that could talk was the parrot, and he didn't fly very well. So I'll be brief. This week, America has been recalling the Apollo program and reliving that we've only completed a beginning. Today we have with us a group of students among America's best. To you, we say we've only completed a beginning. We leave you much that is undone. There are great ideas undiscovered, breakthroughs available to those who can remove one of truth's protective layers. There are places to go beyond belief. Those challenges are yours.
So there you have Neil Armstrong talking about compared to a parrot, birds that are known for talking, not for flying. So saying you went to the moon rather than flying there. He kind of did like a couple things as well, body language wise and whatnot, if you get into that stuff. But he talks about the parrot, and he talks about peeling back truth's protective layers, which ties in a little bit with my opponent and the skepticism of the moon landing. So then how would they dupe us? For NASA to deceive us, they would need to fake a globe and space. They need to fake space items, need good, honest, hardworking scientists to provide them with a welded joint for the rocket that scientists genuinely believe is going to space. And what are there any examples of their efforts towards helping the public? So here you get the first image of the Earth in 43 years. This actually happened kind of right when flat Earth was really getting big. And if I actually flipped it there on the right of it, you can see on the bottom left of the original picture, it actually says sex, S-E-X, written in the clouds, which writing backwards is a part of witchcraft. and Jack Parsons was a part of sex magic practices and was a witch and did these types of things. You also have NASA duplicating the clouds, and there are many shots of duplicate clouds and everything in NASA's images. So you have cloud duplicates. You have Robert Simmons here talking about it's Photoshop, but it has to be. On the far right here, you have a picture of the Earth where North America is 1/3 roughly of the hemisphere, and then in the other one it's the full hemisphere, so that's a massive size difference. And then on the bottom right you also have the flat strips of data, which is out of the words of Robert Simmons' mouth. Those are flat data strips that they wrap around a ball. That's why they have gaps and everything too. So then wait, they have to know to be lying. So is there anything like NASA would have to know that the Earth is flat to lie about and deceive? So you have more pictures here of different shape and colored Earths. You have the Disney Imagination Arc. There's a lot of tie-in with Walt Disney, masonry as well, 33rd degree. There's actually Club 33 at Disney, which is more secret society stuff. But you have the arch that rockets take. They never go straight up. You have this here, the balloons that NASA, they're the #1 user of helium. And so they send balloons up all day long. They use the Saros cycle, which was developed by a flat earth geocentric culture. And so that's how they predict their eclipses. And then you have technical, complicated documents that need to be accurate, and they use a flat, non-rotating earth in their technical documents with very complicated mathematics. So it's probably not just for simplification purposes. And then let me see here. It's not letting me. Hello?
We're pretty far into it, just so you know, brother.
We are okay. I think I'm. It's my screen actually looks like it's stuck. Can
move on to Witsit's opening.
Oh, there we go. And then you have just some fakery stuff here. You have the ISS. This is Don Pettit. I could play it, but it's him saying that it would be a pain to go to the moon. We don't have the technology. We destroyed it. Here's parabolic flights. It's one option how they fake weightlessness. Here is something I will play that shows a clear wire being pulled by this astronaut flipping in the air. He has this thing sticking out right here, gets pulled and pulls back towards this guy here with the military shirt, which also goes into up here. Military is in the in NASA and in the government, and the military is known to keep secrets and to do things like Operation Sea Spray here on the far side.
I'd go to the
and then so efforts of assisting the public. NASA can make it rain, and we have droughts and there are wildfires, but we use weapon weather warfare through Operation Popeye. There's NASA's budget in the corner, so we give them all this money. They don't put the fires out. And if anyone wants US code 50 US code 1520A, that talks about how they're able to actually test on us and experiment, do stuff without our consent, just as long as they call it scientific research. And so why the lie? Basically, we are created, we are special, we are loved. Our creator built this place for us, wants us to be polite towards one another, have a relationship with him and with one another where we are respectful, kind, polite, decent. We don't treat each other like animals, like some are superior. These types of things, like things don't matter. Things like quality of life would change and everything. I can get more into this later, but it's not about money. It's not about control. It's about your soul, and it's about the Bible and the creator, and how much the creator loves us so much that he sent his only begotten son to die for all of mankind's sin. And so we have defeated death. So Austin, I really crunched you on time there, but please, I actually don't know if I can. Wait, here we go. Share. Am I still? Oh, so there we go. Stop share. Okay.
Okay. I can't tell. Did I just start lagging again? I think I just started lagging again.
Yeah, it looks like you are.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a headache it would be for me to back out, but I think we did pretty clearly go over anyway. So it's up to you. What do you want to do? You want me to back out and see if it works again, or I don't know what happened.
I'm kind of hoping it's gonna just catch up.
Okay.
Do you have an opening statement? Could we tackle that real quick, and then you could back?
Yeah,
up
yeah,
after?
yeah. I'll keep it concise. I know I'm delayed, but so it's really simple. The default position, regardless of how much people want to fight this, is that the Earth is a stationary plane. that's just objective. So, you know, the word horizontal literally comes from the horizon. We see that the oceans are flat, the horizon is flat. We see that the stuff in the sky moves and that we do not move. And that's the default position. We see that everything in the sky moves around the earth in the central position for all recorded history. Now, could it theoretically be something else? Yes. Could it be a tilted, wobbling, spinning, revolving water ball in a vacuum of ever expanding nothingness? Sure, in theory. And all of it's an illusion? Yeah. But the burden of proof lies on the globe. One guy, I think his Guillotine is a screen name, did claim some proofs. We'll get into those things because I don't have much time. We're already over. But simply put, contrary to popular belief, the globe has the burden of proof based on Occam's razor, empirical evidence, and standards of evidence. And so we'll get into that. We tested the earth, we tested the globe. It's objectively not that. And people get caught up in the why would they lie? I don't think if your girlfriend's cheating on you, I don't care why she's cheating on me, right? Like I want to see the evidence that she's cheating on me. We'll deal with why later. So hopefully we get into the specifics of the evidence. And I think it's cool that Nathan kind of touched about some of the bigger things that people want to avoid. And yeah, why would NASA lie about so much if there's nothing to hide would be the better question. So we'll get into the evidence and we can go from there. Sorry, I'm delayed. I don't know what happened.
It's all good. We heard you loud and clear, which is I think was super important here. So once again, everyone, if you want to see Witsit Gets It live in debate with no delay on stage, go ahead and get some tickets for that DebateCon 4. We're also doing a crowdfund. Details for that also in the description. Yeah, Witsit, if you want to at this point attempt like a restart to see if you can be undelayed, by all means.
Yeah, I'll be right back. Be right back.
Don't be alarmed, everyone. The overlay will go a little askew while we wait. In the meantime, I'll remind everyone, go ahead, hit that like button. We got 600 people watching us here right now live, which is a pretty impressive number from what I can tell, which means I would love to see those of you who are not subscribed take the time to go ahead, hit that subscribe button. I'm really, really, really hoping or wishing that I could see that Modern Day Debate subscriber count go to 125,000 subscribers. Last time Witsit restarted earlier, it took them just a few moments here. Nathan, I'll ask you, how do you feel about starting the open debate without your tag team compadre?
Austin brings a lot to the table. There's no doubt. Having him here, if it would help, I'm willing to start without him. And I think like we could start off the discussion. Then when he gets in here, he can say what he's got and get into the conversation too. I'm cool with that if you all are.
Can I say a few things?
Yeah.
We're waiting.
I suppose so.
Well, first of all, you guys notice that all the criticisms about Globe Earth were basically NASA is full of shit. I still think my theory leaves a lot less unexplained. And to be clear, Nathan, your theory is that Globe Earth is being pushed to steal our souls? Is that what the deceivers are getting out of it?
To get people to not be so interested with and go towards the Bible, towards Jesus, and towards the Creator. Yeah, it would
I feel
be
like most Christians don't even care about flat Earth. It's still kind of a marginal thing, right?
Yeah, and it's not it has nothing to do with salvation. Faith alone is for salvation, but it just has to do with validating the Bible. The Bible, to be the literal word of God, has to not be inaccurate in its claims that can be tested. So the Bible does make a claim that the earth is stationary. That's a claim you can test. And so we happen to test and get no motion to the earth, like through the Michelson-Morley experiment, pendulums, mechanical gyroscopes, they show no motion to the earth if they're mechanical. And so this actually confirms the Bible, and it's actually even more fortified by Einstein's position. Einstein, through relativity, says ultimately there cannot be any detectable motion. It's all a reference frame where either one thing is moving and the other is stationary, or vice versa. And you can't tell in that instance which one is which. So even the modern theory of today is capped off with the saying that any motion to the earth is not perceptible. We can't measure, we can't detect it, because everything has to be relative. There's no absolute motion for you to detect motion against. And so it's what there are other claims as well that the Bible makes that can be tested, like the diet and nutrition with plant eating, reversing diseases that other nutritions can't, cleaning your hands with running water. Those are things that can be tested, whereas like having faith in the Bible is not something you can necessarily test. That's a faith claim, but it does add credibility if the earth is flat. And then you have the 666 is mentioned by the Bible as the number of the enemy. So if someone was going to lie and they were the enemy to mankind, them putting a 666 in many different positions kind of, and I know it's in, imperial English units or whatever, but these things they're all over, and English is what.
I mean, if you change the units, then you stop having the like the tilt thing. That was 66.6, right? 66.6 degrees.
Yeah, and that one would always be there.
Well, yeah, no, but if you, instead of using degrees as your way to measure the angle, if you use radians, for instance, then suddenly the 66.6 goes away, because radians, it's like 2 pi is equal to 90 degrees or some shit, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's really just
180.
Not
or 2 pi. Yeah, no,
do
I know.
you mind if we drop the religious angle, because that's like a whole other debate? And
yeah, no, I just wanted to set that as far as like the conspiracy aspect of it for people who question about like how could they lie about the earth and stuff like that. Shows a lot of cultural influence of like satanic things and how it's crept into society.
So you just think they're just like evil, basically?
It's been a deception that's been in the works for a very long time, and some very intelligent fallen angels. They're dumb for rebelling, but they do know things. They've been around for a long time, so they know how to reverse engineer. That's why they can look at the sky and just say, no, the sky is still and we're moving, when really all we see and experience and all of our colloquialisms and our terms and our day-to-day verbiage is sunrise, sunset. That implies motion. Abyssal plains, plate tectonics. These are things that indicate flat, indicate stationary, indicate a moving sky. So how things rise and set. It should be the earth turns to and fro. Like it shouldn't. It's in our kind of like what Austin was saying, our terminology. Austin, are you back, by the way?
Yeah.
Austin is back. We are at full debate power now. So yeah, thanks for coming back there, Austin.
Yeah.
Everyone, don't forget to get your super chats in, right? So at the end of this debate, we'll ask our wonderful debaters some questions based on your super chats. All right, keep things friendly.
Let me
and let's get back to this open discussion. Austin,
because what I was about to say was, like, if we can kind of all agree on a couple of parameters, right? Like, let's try to keep our points concise and to the point for both sides, and then try not to interrupt each other, or like interjections and interruptions are different. I think we'll have like a very productive combo, because everyone here seems pretty chill, and so I think we should be able to do that, right? Like I do have one thing I want to make sure we all agree on. In my opening, I brought up that the globe has the burden of proof, as in what we experience is that the earth isn't moving, that the stuff in the sky moves, that the horizon is horizontal. And the globe says, oh, well, it's so big, you don't feel it. Oh, it's so big, you don't see it, blah, blah, blah. And sure, it's physically possible, right? But do we all agree with that our default position with our experience and our observations is that the earth is a stationary plane, and that to substantiate that it's actually a spinning globe would have the burden of proof? Are we all in agreement with that?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So
I don't know that I would.
why not?
Well, no, if you have the evidence to like,
Yeah, the
then you
things
just
that I
present it.
presented in the beginning of my presentation were kind of, that's what I was trying to get at. Just evidence that it's not flat from mere observation. I mean, it's very clear ways to be able to tell that. I mean, I don't know. I see your point. I just don't think that the globe has the burden of proof. I think.
I think he's
Well,
saying
like,
like
if you just-
with the naked eye, like if you had zero education, you would look outside and be like, oh, of course it's flat.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Default
Like, so
position
like
is
your evidences would be substantiating the burden of proof, right? Like
Yeah.
when, yeah, exactly. Like when
You
you,
can
when
meet
you gave those,
meet the burden of proof, so it's okay.
exactly. Like when you offered proof, so you would be substantiating the burden of proof. We can go through them.
I
and
would
see
say
if it
it's more
actually
just
does.
evidence. I wouldn't really call it proof.
Yeah, but
it's not. It doesn't
yeah,
prove the
I get it.
point, but yeah, it's just
Yeah,
evidence.
sure. So we can't prove the Earth's a globe, but that's somewhat semantical. I get your point, but we can go through the evidences, bro, right? Because it's like a misconception that people that research this and come to the conclusion that the globe model isn't true don't know these things or haven't thoroughly understood them. So we can go through them. Now I had typed them out as you said them, but I had to restart, right? But I do kind of remember what they were. I remember that you had star trails, right?
Star
I
trails.
remember that you had a gyroscope.
15 degrees per hour drift.
Right. So so that would be motion. So do you guys want to
24
start
hour
with
sun in Antarctica.
motion? You want to, yeah, exactly. You want to start with the motion or the geometry first? Because there are two primary claims, right? That the Earth is a sphere, and then that the Earth is spinning, or that the Earth is a plane, and that it's stationary. So we should break them up. They're different. Would you guys rather kind of cover the geometry or the motion first?
I would just want to hear your explanations for certain observations that we have. Like,
sure.
For instance, why is every other celestial body round?
Gotcha.
That's
Yeah. So if you look at it from our perspective, it's that from our perspective, everything moves around us. So, if you know what relativity says, it says, well, sure, everything looks like the Earth is in the center of the universe, but that's just an illusion. Okay, so from the perspective that the Earth actually is in the center of the universe, that would make it special and unique, right? The Copernican theory says that it's not. Copernican principle says it's not special or unique. So, like, if the Earth, here's my question for you in response to your question, right? Like, if the Earth is in the center of the entire cosmos, because that word's better, it means order, then what would make you think it should be the same as everything else? If it's the only thing that's in the center and everything moves around it, what logic is there to suggest that it should be the same as everything else when fundamentally it's different than everything else?
Well, that's how it is in the heliocentric model. Like, there's a sun, and the sun is the same shape as all the planets, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
it
doesn't seem that crazy to me that every body in space would be the same.
So
what about the geocentric?
What you're saying is you're saying if we look up, we see the sky doing a certain or we see something certain in the sky, things look kind of circular or spherical if you want to. So we look up and we see that. But you would also, if you're going to say we look up and see the sky this, you are wanting to claim the circular appearance of objects, but you're not wanting to claim when we look up in the sky, we see it move. So you're trying to claim that we observe one thing, but we also observe the other thing at the same time. And why things are circular in the sky or why they look like, if the Earth was purple and round or and a cube, that doesn't mean that the things in the sky are purple cubes. What the Earth is below is not always what it is above. We see light above coming from stars. We don't see the Earth emitting its own light. Kind of like if you play baseball, you play with a round ball, a round bat, you round bases, rounded batting average, but the field itself is not round. It's you can't associate one to the other.
So are you saying space isn't real?
No. The area above us where we see lights are real. Many astronomical observations are real. Many of them are not. They're taken with RGB filters and they're taken with spectrum data, right? Emission and absorption data, and then we translate them into images. And you covered that, and you had a pretty honest opener. But there's two ways to answer this question. One is, say I have a pool table over here. If I pick up the pool ball and I say, look, it's a pool ball. So since it's a ball, the table's a ball. If I say, oh, the light bulb is a bulb, it's spherical, so therefore my floor is a sphere. They're unrelated.
Well, no, because I don't think the shape of space is necessarily spherical. I just think the bodies that are in space are all spherical. So all the balls in the pool table, those are all spheres, and then the pool table itself, that would be space itself. So it's okay if
Yeah.
that's a different shape.
This is what
Also,
I'm saying.
do you
This is
think
where
that,
this is
like,
where
what is the
we're
shape of flat Earth? Like,
Wait,
is
time,
it
time,
like
time.
this?
Yeah.
we don't make a shape claim. Flat
Oh,
is
don't
a
make-
description of a surface, but and I would say it is a circle and that the creator drew a circle, but
It is a circle. Okay.
I leave that
Yeah.
separate. Bro, you understand that you're conflating two models. So when you're like, but in the heliocentric model, but that's not, you asked why would they not be the same? Well, from a geocentric stationary plane position, the Earth is in the center of everything. Everything is paying homage to the Earth and moving around it. There are lights moving around the central Earth. Why would we think the Earth is the same as everything else? It literally isn't. It's the only thing in the center, right? Like that's what I'm asking you. Like if you put yourself in our position, which in debate you have to be able to still man the other person's position.
Sure,
We have
yeah.
to see each other. So like, why would we think that the Earth would be the same as what we see in the sky when from the observational perspective, it's not. It's the center of everything else. So it's special and unique. So if it's unique, it doesn't stand to
Well-
reason that it would be the same, right? Those are contradictions.
Yeah, I mean, I get your point. I don't think that necessarily because, well, one, I would question how you know you're at the center because it feels like your statement's kind of like it relies on knowing that you are the center, which I
Uh-huh.
would wonder how you know that.
All
But
evidence
it-
ever.
All evidence ever
All
is
observational
evidence
evidence ever. Yeah.
is
Mechanical
evidence
data
that what
of gyros.
That we're in the center. Your model claims that everything looks like the Earth is in the center, but it's an illusion. That is
no,
your
it claims that from every point in space, like in every single point, you could say that you are the center.
right. So
Yeah,
you
if
agree
but
that
it-
all
took your
observations
measurements from
from
Mars,
the Earth.
you would look like you're in the center.
So you agree that all
So you could-
observations from the Earth make it look like we're in the center.
It's
No,
what the
if I
globe.
remember correctly, theoretically, you could say that from any point in the universe that you look like
Right.
you're the center.
So
You're
what the
correct.
globe is saying is that no matter what observation we try to make, we're only going to get the Earth is the center as the result. So now the flat Earth is saying we interpret that as saying the Earth is flat, or is the center. That's the simplest explanation, Occam's razor and all that. So it's the globe that claims something other. And then they're like, okay, well, we're going to make an observation that the Earth is not the center. What are they going to do? They're going to set up a device on the Earth and measure it again. And it's going to come back that the Earth is in the center.
Yep.
Apparently, just, according to a globe, it's an apparent position, but it's the thing we always get when we empirically demonstrate reality and try
It's an illusion. It's an illusion. Like I have a book right here by Stephen Hawking. It's called Stubbornly Persistent Illusion. It comes from an Einstein quote. He writes a 3-page forward, and the whole rest of the book is Einstein quotes. It's a stubbornly persistent illusion that we're in the center of the universe. So we can all agree, because you guys have to agree if you're claiming the current model, which is that when we look at in the sky, any observation we make from the Earth makes it look like the Earth is in the center. And you're claiming, your model claims, well, everywhere in the universe would look like it's in the center because everything's expanding away in all directions. Well, you asked me, how do I know the Earth's in the center? And my answer is because literally all observational evidence ever shows us in the center.
What about
you just
the
said it's an
background
illusion.
radiation?
Background radiation.
Being the center.
Yeah, like there's a clear there is a like position in the universe where it seems like that's where the Big Bang came out from. It's not like the Big Bang could have happened right next to us. Like we can see from the background radiation, or sorry, the redshift. I forgot what it's called, but
Microwave background.
These different things. These are so cosmic microwave background, and then there's redshift. So cosmic microwave background is we did many different quote unquote probes, and you can do it without high altitude balloons or whatever. Anyway, they showed background radiation in all directions, and they claim that's evidence for the Big Bang. But there's two terms to be familiar with, right? Inhomogeneous and isotropic. And isotropic means without a preferred direction. So the Big Bang cosmology claims that there's no preferred direction, like he was saying. It looks like we're in the center, but everywhere it looks like it's in the center. There's no preferred direction. It expands in all directions. But when they looked at the cosmic microwave background, they saw that there was an isotropic distribution, meaning that actually there was an axis of evil, right? So it was basically, it should have been smooth everywhere, but it was bumpy in a couple places. And when you drew the lines on those bumpy areas, it intersected on the Earth. out of the entire universe, and it's called the axis of evil. The CMB actually proved that the Earth was in the center. And redshift is a different subject, which is everything expanding away from us. It makes it look like we're in the center, and that's Edwin Hubble in like the 20s saying, oh, well, that's an illusion. So both of those are good evidence for our position.
And doesn't that seem a little bit like you're kind of refuting yourself from a globe position? Like if the default position is that it appears stationary and appears flat and that the things move around us, the sky moves around us. And then when you set out to perform a test, you're admitting that there's nothing you can do to test that shows that we're moving. It always has to confirm. So you can't.
No, wait. Well, there's some things. There's
we definitely
only
can
support the flat Earth claim, and we can't falsify the globe.
I would like to know how you guys explain
yeah, that's wrong.
why there are different seasons at different parts of the world at the same time.
Wait, before we
Well,
get
you-
into like I just want to say this, right? I think it's important that we don't have a subject, and before we address the conclusion, we just move on to, well, then I want to know how you explain the. Let's wrap up the conclusion, right? The cosmic
What else
microwave
is there to
background and red. Okay, so it shows that the Earth is in the center. So the question is there
I
any
don't think it
actual
necessarily
evidence?
does.
Is there any exclusive evidence that exists that proves or shows, because you don't like proof, that the Earth moves around the sun in a solar system? Can anyone give us evidence that's exclusive to the Earth moving around the sun? That's what we need, because that's your claim, and that's not what we observe.
So do you want to
Well,
pull up
even
what
if
you
we-
showed, Guillotine?
Even if we showed that it rotated, the rotating and being able to show curvature would also be very important. But yeah, I don't understand that your claim of this of like the axis of evil for one. Two, I don't understand why it's like but even if this is true, this axis of evil, how do you know this isn't just something that like you've interpreted this, you know, the
That's what the
CMB to
scientists
show?
called. The scientists called it that. It's called the axis of evil. You can look it
there
up.
are quite a few people who are kind of high up in
Yeah, I'm
academia
just-
or well publicized or public figures that are
Yeah.
are aware of the axis of evil, and
That's
it
what
could
they
have
called
So
it.
What is the axis of evil again? Like I'm confused.
it's
Right,
a
so
name
I-
given
It sounds weird, right? Because evil isn't science. That's like
Yeah.
some emotional, moral
Yeah,
argument.
not
Yeah.
an
So,
emotional
but that's what they called it. So they called it the axis of evil because this is around the time where we had like Middle Eastern situation going on, and George Bush called them the axis of evil. So he just named it there based on the political climate. The idea of it being evil is that it just didn't go along with the model. Like it was supposed to show that the Earth is insignificant and everything is distributing everywhere. For some
It's
reason,
refuting
there was a
data from the-
23.4 degree tilted anisotropic distribution of energy that intersected on the Earth. It's called the axis of evil, because that's their term, not our term. And no one's ever explained that, by the way. The current academic explanation is, oh, well, maybe the instrument's messed up. So there is no explanation.
Yeah, I have to
So,
look
I
more
mean-
into it.
It's an
It's all good.
intersection of what they're measuring up in the sky. It intersects with us being at the center, and that could have something to do with the machine itself being the epicenter of its receiver and of its what is it called, processor and everything. Like it's doing all of its function out of the center of itself, so that could have something to do with it. But that also does, that observation of the cosmic microwave background radiation does align again with Einstein and saying that it appears like we're at the center. So it doesn't actually conflict with the globe in that explanation. They're actually covered. They cover the CMB.
Oh, actually, wait. That's not true though, because so they say the Earth is tilted on a 23.4 degree axis. And that's why the sun has the ecliptic plane. So we see the sun move in like a plane, right? An ecliptic.
Yeah.
And so they say, oh, well, it's because the Earth is tilted. And it makes it look like that. Well, the CMB showed that tilt goes far beyond the quote unquote solar system. It goes all the way out into deep space, which means it cannot be because of the tilt of our position, or it would only be local. It's all the way out into space. Relativity cannot explain that. No one can explain that. The current explanation is, oh, the data must be wrong. It's okay if you're not familiar with it. If you guys want to move on to something else, that's fine. Like we can talk about whichever one you
Yeah.
want to, the geometry
we
or the
can
motion.
do whatever y'all want to do. I just don't understand on that one. Even like just because somebody calls it the axis of evil doesn't mean that one, it is evil.
But you don't
And
have to
two,
call it evil or an axis of, you can call it the cosmic microwave background radiation. It's the same. It's
I
just
just want to know what, like, we're talking about the evidence. Like, who cares what someone called it? I think it's funny that they called it evil because that's not
Same.
scientific at all.
don't-
Like,
Yeah,
I
it's like
don't
the God particle.
understand.
that's also weird to call
Yeah.
something the God particle. It's
Yeah,
weird.
that was a really
And
bad.
at CERN, they have a
move.
deity statue of Shiva, the destroyer deity, outside of CERN for whatever reason. A bunch
Just
of
a coincidence.
scientists have religious statues.
And they call it the God particle because it gives mass to the majority of the particles. But so like, would you want to talk about the motion or the geometry is what I'm asking? Like that's a different one. That's like the solar system. I can tell you right now, I can save us time. I had a conversation on my channel, which it gets it on YouTube, PhD astronomer. Okay. He's a professor in astronomy. He quickly conceded that there's a kinematic equivalence with the geocentric position, meaning that all the motion that we see in the sky is equally explained on a stationary Earth. All of it, retrograde, parallax, aberration, all the motion of the planets and the stars are perfectly explained from a stationary position as well. They're equally valid according to relativity. So we can save time with that. If you guys have evidence that the Earth is moving or a ball, we would love to hear it. And we can cover what you brought up if you want.
Was he saying it's a stationary like globe or a stationary like flat plane? What was his?
That's a separate part. So like if it's in the center or not is not particularly related to
Yeah, I
the
mean,
shape.
well, it could be in the center, but that doesn't really determine whether it's flat or not.
Well,
That's
can
correct.
I share my screen real quick?
Good luck explaining a
Sure.
stationary globe in space, though. It's going to be tough.
It would be kind of tough.
It's just that it all like I've heard it before. What's his name? Singenis.
Robertson
I've heard
Genis,
it,
he's also on
yeah.
my channel.
I've heard it from him. The whole like the everything rotates around it, but like
And that generates the force of the.
so what I'm trying to get at is
Well,
how
here, look,
Uses
kind of how are
Newtonian
y'all showing that
mechanics.
it's flat?
here.
Okay, let's go to geometry then. If you want to do
Let me
geometry.
show this to start the geometry talk here. This here, these are 4 lights that are they're 1 foot off the ground. And these 4 lights are 5, 6, 7, and 8 miles away. And they all are in a straight line, whereas a globe would have them getting further and further bent down. Because if you think of like a circle, how it's curved, like the further out you go, the more downward your direction starts to tend. So the further out you go, there's a more extreme drop. So these, if you plot what we observe here at 5, 6, 7, and 8 miles out, if you plot that on a graph, these points are in a straight line. And this is actually from an observer height of like 7 inches. So the camera is actually tilted up at these lights. So this is actually a geometric proof. I know in science it's evidence, but this, you can coordinate this out on a Cartesian coordinate system, and it will plot out that that water is planar, because if you put all of these points together, it forms a line. So this is a geometrical proof showing that water is planar in bodies of water like lakes and oceans.
What do you guys think?
I need like another diagram. It's hard to really tell what I'm looking at. It's like 3 or 4 blurry dots. Where is this?
Basically,
Like, on the ocean?
all the lights
Yeah.
should be at different positions on a
And
globe
here-
with different refractive indices.
But
let me
then
put it like
where's
this.
like the
The-
location of the lights? Is there like a
Yeah,
top-down angle to look at?
location,
This,
yeah, location, the weather, like so many different factors that could
You got
cause
this,
this
bro.
to happen.
I'm going to be
This-
back in like 2 minutes. Nathan, you got
Okay.
it.
So this is in the winter. This is on a frozen lake. And so this is, I think, Rock Lake. And these lights are 5, 6, 7, 8 miles apart, and the 5, 6, 7, 8 miles away, 1 mile apart each. And the observer, he's at an observer height of 7 inches, and he sees these all in a straight line. And what this does is, if you think like this 5 mile away light, this is 1 foot off the ground, right? So what the official globe narrative is that at 3 miles, back in the ancient Greeks' time, they were watching ships disappear bottom first over the horizon, over the curve of the earth, supposedly, and that a 6 foot high ship, it was supposed to be able to get hidden at 3 miles away from the observer. So you have something that is 1/6 of the height of a boat, and it's almost 2 times further away, and it's still visible.
I mean, but I've seen I've seen the ships disappear bottom first,
So
like
yes.
with my eyes.
Yes, okay, and so
Yeah.
here's the thing, is you can, like, this would be something, this is an observation we make.
Wait,
in
just
the
show me
world.
like with a ship, maybe. Like this is too abstract for me. Do you have
Okay,
like a
Yeah,
ship
these are
not
really
disappearing bottom
blurry.
first?
yeah,
That would be really good evidence.
let me see. Right here. So this is like a ship disappearing, or a buoy. But you can see it, and then when they zoom out, you're gonna see that the buoy disappears. And so this is how you can get bottom up disappearance, and you can cause things. This is what I want to find is
Isn't that proof
I could
though?
I can still see
Wait,
it
wait, wait.
again.
Just so you guys understand, like
Yeah.
boats would disappear from the bottom up optically on a plain Earth. Okay,
yeah.
So,
Wait, how?
Why?
That's what
oh yeah,
why?
no problem.
I'll find it and I'll pull it up here. But here's the thing is that the globe and the flat earth are making claims, and we make observations in reality. And so what the flat earth is able to do is the flat earth can make a claim and make an observation, and they can say, okay, we see bottom up disappearance. The flat earth says that is caused by temperature change in the air and the difference of temperature between the air and the surface. So what now a flat earth can do is they can go to a flat surface and demonstrate bottom up disappearance, which is the observed phenomena, using the conditions that they claimed, which represent realistic possibilities, and you get the observed phenomena. And I'm going to pull that bottom up disappearance up. But let me tell you this about that 4 light experiment. I've talked to several pretty big anti-flat earthers, or globers that go against flat earth, and I've asked, can you show me a demonstration where you recreate that observation, because that's a real world observation, on a known curved surface, claiming any variable you want, refraction, give yourself the right refractive index, claim whatever you want, and show a recreation where on a known curved surface, those lights that are definitely on a curved surface can just appear to be flat. And there's no demonstration associating the claimed cause and then shown, but the flat earth can do that. And then I'll pull up here the bottom up disappearance.
Yeah, and I will say it takes some time to understand this, but like I'm gonna break this down. Give me like 1 minute. Okay. So like if you stand at the end of a long hallway, the ground's gonna look like it's ramping up. The skies, the roof, the ceiling is gonna look like it's ramping down. They're converging, right? We can all agree on that. It's just a fact that perspective cause. Just like if you look at railroads, they converge. We'll flip them on the side. They're gonna converge to the middle. So if I look at a hallway, it looks like it's converging to the middle. Okay. So the bottom is ramping up. Well, is the boat closer to the bottom or the top? It's closer to the water at the bottom. And this is where it gets a bit technical, but it's not that complicated. Okay. There's something called reception and propagation angles. So everything is light. Now, I don't actually believe that light travels, but it doesn't matter. I might be delayed again. But anyway, so
Wait, you don't believe light?
Yeah, explain the light thing.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Okay, light.
About there.
Explain that real quick.
Light is already there. It's the background medium, and then it gets excited. And it takes a certain amount of time for us to perceive the illumination, and people call that the speed of light. It's already present, which explains instantaneous action at distance, quote unquote, quantum entanglement, and the variant speed of light that's been observed in many observations. But that's a side note. It doesn't matter. There's little pieces of light, okay, little points of light, and it's coming to us. That's how we see everything. It's light, right? So say there's a boat. Well, there's like 1 billion little points of light on that boat. Each one of those points have a propagation and reception angle, meaning the angle at which the light propagates to us and the angle in which we receive the light. Okay. As soon as the reception angle drops below the resolution angle, you can't resolve it anymore. Well, the angle at the bottom of the boat is smaller than at the top. Right. So if I draw a straight line out to a 10-story building, the bottom of the building is closer to my eye than the top of the building. So that means that the bottom of the building will lose resolvability first. Also, last thing, the Atmos has the most dense at the bottom. There's a gradient. Well, since it's the most turbulent, called turbidity, and the most dense at the bottom, then the attenuation of light, which is a fancy word of saying the light is absorbed into the medium, that rate is higher at the bottom than the top. So the light gets absorbed faster at the bottom, and the resolution angle it falls below the resolution angle faster at the bottom. So things would literally disappear bottom up as the ground ramps up due to perspective on a flat Earth. In fact, it would have to do that scientifically.
And here, real quick, before you respond, if I could just wait, is Austin still talking?
No, I'm gonna back out again. Just heads up.
Okay, so I'm gonna show now, kind of in accordance with what Austin was saying there.
Real quick, before I give you a screen share back, I'm just going to say we'll probably do this for about maybe another 10 minutes, and then we'll get into some super chats. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Nathan, do you mind wrapping this up? Because I still got a few questions that
Yeah.
never heard a flat earther explain. Geometry though,
No, I'll for sure. Let me just real quick, I'll show this just to show this is an example of like the flat earth being able to say, well, we say that this causes bottom up disappearance, say temperature change. And so now what you have here is so these here are a bunch of like tacks, and this is on a flat surface. And so these are down low. You can see the bottom of this is a bread tag. And then as you let the air in, you get this bottom up disappearance, which causes you to only be able to see the top of these objects. And it causes the blurring and everything, the magnification, the bands that appear towards the horizon. And then as it settles back down, you start to get a revealing of what is beneath. It starts to come back into view because it's not anything physically that's obstructing it.
not gonna lie, man, it's really hard for me to like
Yeah,
understand
yeah, I
a lot
don't.
of what's going on here.
Well, it's
Yeah,
can I
y'all are
just-
really.
Can you just explain what is gravity? How does gravity work?
So gravity, like things fall down. Gravity would
Yes.
be like a Y, things fall down. One immediate thing that I can think of is like this pen. If I right now I'm holding it, so it has potential energy. My hand is putting energy into this object. Side or front to back, because this is at the same level that the object is in. So there's no tendency. And it took me energy to go up. So I had to put potential energy in. So it's taking energy to lift. So if nothing is putting energy into an object to keep lifting it higher and higher, it's not going to go up. So the only thing left, it can't go up, it can't go any way around on the plane, so it can only go down because it's going from potential energy here to kinetic energy, and then it falls. And it's what objects want to do is seek rest. So the lowest potential energy that they can get. So if you have something high up on a shelf and knock it down onto a lower shelf, it went from a higher state of potential energy, it went kinetic as it's moving, and then it hits the matter, which puts an energy into it that gives it a new potential energy that's lower.
So what explains like the acceleration of gravity though?
The downward, the 9.8.
Like we know it's 9.8.
why-
Like you agree that's
yeah.
9.8, right?
Yeah,
Meters
and
per second squared.
it's a measure that is pretty accurate in a lot of places, and
Yeah,
so-
no, it fluctuates like on Earth.
yeah. So
But
there
not
are
much. Like it's
fluctuations.
pretty.
What's that?
It doesn't fluctuate like too much. Like it's pretty.
No, yeah,
settled, like-
it's
No, like
slight.
the farther away, I think it's like if you're on the top of the highest mountains, there's like less
Yeah.
gravity, right?
the
Yeah,
the
It's
the,
supposed to be a
the
little
way
more
I'll
gravity if you're on a mountain.
Do
higher
you
mountain.
subscribe to
If
the
you're-
like the flat Earth is constantly accelerating upward?
No.
Oh,
No.
so you're not
See,
like there is a downward force that pulls objects toward the Earth at 9.8 meters per second squared. Like
Well,
you
yeah,
agree with that?
there's something that causes objects to fall, and it might have
Okay.
something to do with like a solid object has a very high density of like atoms. Their like closest packing is something that like solids will do. They get as close as they can and as dense as they can. And gas molecules, like there's a lot of it's called translation.
I mean, some gases fall to Earth
So-
too.
Yeah.
Like liquid nitrogen is basically a gas.
Yeah, but it has to do with the density of the medium, the relation, and why I think things fall at a 9.8 pretty much, we'll just say for the conversation 9.8 is because that there are so many more atoms in this pen than in the air that is underneath the pen and surrounding it. And so because like in a mole, there is 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd atoms. And so there's like many, many, many millions and billions and trillions and quadrillions and gajillions of atoms in this pencil. But in the air, there's, you know, relatively speaking, there's significant orders of magnitude less. So if you compare those differences, that probably gives you, because any change to solid matter is going to be so negligible compared to the difference that that's why you keep that 9.8 meters per second average, roughly speaking.
But like it happens no matter like what medium you're in, what you're dropping. Like it's not just like
Yeah, it happens in water
like
too.
like it happens at all points in time, basically everywhere. So like why does it happen? Like over different mediums with different objects, it will happen.
Well, if you exclude resistance, you're talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah, like
no,
air
at
resistance.
all
Or-
points on the Earth, no matter the medium that's being dropped through, no matter what like the object is made out of, it is being pulled toward the Earth. No, we can say wherever we want to say that is, but toward the Earth at 9.8 meters per second squared. Like,
Mhm.
Your model doesn't even
Why
claim
is
it's
that?
being
So-
pulled.
So if you have
There is a force pull. There is something pulling
a
it.
pseudo force
Yes.
acceleration,
Yeah.
They say it's like a railroad track guiding it down. But
Yeah,
there's
into a gravity
there's an
well.
electro-
Yes, and
there's a
So,
downward
so like the
electrical
globe
bias.
Earth theory, it has a pretty good explanation for what gravity is. That's
Does
kind of
not.
what
yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't. Because admittedly,
Mhm.
levels of academia, relativity doesn't work. So
can I?
No, it definitely does.
it definitely doesn't. So I'll cite some specifics here. So
Hey,
Which
Go on,
or
one?
some specifics of so in 1933, that's almost a century ago, they looked at galaxies and they saw that the galaxies in the galaxy cluster should be escaping out of the cluster because there was only 1% of the mass needed to keep them in the cluster according to relativity. It was off by 99%. So did they throw their theory out once it was off by 99%? No, it's a religion. You can't throw it out. So they said, okay, well, there must be an invisible thing of matter there that we can't define, we can't detect, we can't find, we can't tell you what it is, but I promise it's there. It's called dark matter. It's been a century. It also doesn't work on the quantum scale. Relativity doesn't explain the variant nature of light when it comes to the preferred direction of east to west inside of gyroscopes and even accelerometers with linear accelerometers and interferometers. So relativity doesn't work. And everyone that's an quote unquote expert will tell you that, well, relativity, best case, is significantly incomplete and has to be updated. So, no, they don't have a good explanation. They claim that two concepts called space and time physically bend and warp, and that doesn't even make
So
sense.
then what's the flat Earth theory for? Does it like reconcile theory of gravity and theory of relativity?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a better explanation than the theory of relativity, which is that everything's intrinsically electrostatic. So there's not one object in all of existence that isn't electrostatic. You couldn't name one object. All of them are. In fact, the molecular bond that holds objects together is electrostatics. So you can type in all
forces.
Yeah, and van der Waals voices. So all molecular and intermolecular attractive forces are electrostatic in nature. There's also a measurable downward electric current on the Earth. So there's a current coming from the sky down to the ground. It's 10 microamps per meter, and it's very weak, but it sets the up and down. It sets the bias, right? And so that's why we ground things into the ground, because that's where they equalize and disperse and discharge their excess charge. So everything has a charge. The medium has a charge. It exchanges charge to the object, and then it seeks its equilibrium at the ground. That sets the up and down. And then density and buoyancy sort out the rest. And density is intrinsically electrostatic as well.
My question there is, how does this electrostatic force make it where any object that falls through any medium falls at exactly 9.8 meters per second squared?
They don't do that. So 9.8 meters per no, they objectively don't do that. 9.8 meters per second squared is just it's an average. It's an agreed upon
that
average.
Is very tight. That average is not. It's not like it's a very tight average.
Okay, but you just said it falls at exactly 9.8 every time.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. It falls relatively very close to 9.8 meters per second squared.
So it's
on
not
average.
a
There you
constant
go.
force pulling it down. It's varied.
It is.
It
It
changes.
Well, like
is.
you,
It
you can
pulls
make
on
pretty accurate
everything toward
predictions
the
Except it
Earth.
changes.
assuming it's a constant force. Like
No, you
where are
can't.
all the
And it, yeah, you can
No,
definitely.
have you guys ever heard
100%.
of a
Like it's
gravimeter? You know what a
a
gravimeter is?
gravimeter. I have not heard of a gravimeter.
So it's a little vacuum sealed box. Okay. And it's how we measure the most precise measurements on the earth of how fast things fall. It's a vacuum sealed chamber called a gravimeter. And it drops a little BB, right? Over and over and over. And it has these lasers that measure how fast the BB falls. It's called interferometry. So you have spring loaded or interferometric. Interferometry is the best. Okay. It measures how quick it falls. They've proven that objects fall at different rates at the same location. And in fact, they change during thunderstorms. So when there's lightning or thunder around, the object falls at a different rate. It's because everything is electric. So the most precise measurements of downward acceleration on the earth prove it's not constant, prove that it's electric. The claim that, space and time bends and warps is just a claim. If someone can show me some science for that, I'd hear it out, but I've researched it way too much
I've
to
never
believe
seen.
it.
Sorry, I've never seen the science on this. That thunderstorms are affecting that, but I'd love to see that.
What would you think about
yeah,
it if it happens? What would you think about that?
I think it's interesting. I don't think it's debunking the entire theory of relativity. If a BB drops a little, like if a BB drops faster when there's a thunderstorm around it, I don't think that's
Sometimes slower actually, because
okay. Well, I don't think personally that one experiment is going to disprove all of Einsteinian physics. I mean, there are tons of different ways.
like,
like you
I just don't
can you
understand
prove
why isn't
Einsteinian
there
physics
more
first?
why isn't
No,
there
I
more
don't
like
think you can- I don't
technology?
think you
Why
can
aren't there
prove any
more
scientific theory.
predictions that use flat Earth theory? If it's as
Airplane.
accurate,
Oh, they
like,
do.
useful
That's the
as
funny
science-
part.
They
The funny
don't.
part is that they actually do. So all physics
what?
and all engineering assumes a plane, including his bridges, where he said that one end is different than the other end. What's funny is the change between the flat water beneath it. So that's how they got it's literally they measured the different distance between the flat water beneath the whole thing. It's because the bridge is curved, so that flexibility and structural integrity is high. That's why but anyway, so
And
we
you can
always
see
assume
a
that
bridge curved over flat water. You can see it sometimes. It's that apparent where the bridge is deliberately curved over. You can juxtapose it to the flat surface of the water, and it's
it gives it structural integrity.
Yeah, you can.
Wait, are you asking
can,
about
but-
gravity specifically? You're asking why don't people use flat Earth gravity or whatever? Like,
yeah.
Well,
flat Earth,
okay. Well,
anything.
engineering uses gravity, but it uses little g, right? Which is 9.8 meters per second squared. Specifically, it uses the weight of objects. And the way that we determine weight is mass times gravity, right? So it's like,
Sure.
so the mass times how fast things fall on average, which is 9.8 meters per second squared. You don't need gravity to get that little g. You can use a kinematic equation of initial velocity and height, and you'll get the same exact value always.
Well, no,
Time
wait,
and
height. Then,
Yeah.
like, you would still need the force of gravity for the height to
Why?
mean anything, right?
Why?
Well, if you're doing like, just standard Newtonian physics, like kinematics,
Uh-huh.
then if you like throw a ball, like you can calculate where it's going to land. You have to incorporate gravity in addition to like the horizontal velocity, right?
Well, yeah, you use little g, and we can use the equation of Newtonian
We get a little g.
physics.
Don't we get that from the big G, the gravitational constant?
No, that's one of the
It's like big
claims.
G. Well,
No, no. A little g equals m1, m2 over r2, right? So there's no big G involved. Big G is different. But
What
when it
do
comes to
you
engineering, we
G's
use
say about us getting into some super chats at this point?
works for me.
yeah.
All right.
Hey,
Gravity is a joke, bro. I'm just letting you guys know. It's just
No,
everything's
that's
electromagnetic.
hey,
Everything's
No,
electromagnetic.
there's lots of different things that generate
Can
relativity.
I
There's
play a-
nothing.
can-
But
Can I
perihelion
play a
precession of
video real quick, like
Mercury-
10
It doesn't
seconds
work.
to cover the Antarctica?
It does. It does actually. That's crazy.
I really want to get into these super chats, and your 10-second video will very quickly turn into 15 more
Yeah.
minutes.
Probably
of
true,
content.
but
Yeah, more
Okay.
discussion. Okay. Hey,
So
Guillotine, just know I got a video for you. I can.
Gotcha. Wonderful.
it's all good.
Sunlight.
Let's just we'll get into some super chats here because some folks are on a clock. So we'll just start getting into some super chats. Everyone, don't forget to hit that like button. Still hoping to see that subscribe button hit a whole bunch of times. It would be quite the feather in the cap to hit 125,000 people sub to modern day debate. By the way, if you lovely debaters were not paying attention, modern day debate launched a poll in the chat, and the chat right now is the poll right now is pretty close, but it is leaning to a flat Earth. So there's that.
Let's go.
Gotta say, Witsit, you're a great speaker.
Let's go into
Anything.
the super chats. So right off the bat, we have for $4.99 from LJ to the Globies. What are the percent chances, in your opinion, that you're wrong? To everyone, would you ever get on a roller coaster that will go 17,500 miles per hour?
Percent chance.
Um,
wrong? I don't know. 1%.
Come on, bro. You
No,
come on.
I'd
You
say-
know the
I'd
moon
say-
landing's
I'd say
fake.
le-
I mean,
I'd say
like,
less than
all-
that.
all of-
I'd say less than
You're
that.
close,
That's
dude.
not.
Yeah,
he's
no,
he's
like,
gonna be a flat earther. I got money on it.
He's
So
close.
this
he
is the
might be, but
percent.
I
This
will
is the
not agree with
percentage that you're wrong.
Guillotine,
So
The
then the next
percentage
part
that
of the
I'm wrong
question
is-
is.
I think it's pretty damn low.
So then the next part of the question is, would you ever get on a roller coaster that goes 17,500 miles per hour?
Yes, but I'm adrenaline junkie, so that's not really accurate.
If it
Use
had
all
a
your
if it had
adrenaline
a
up in one go.
I'll put it this way, if it had a failure rate that was equal to what I think the percent chance that it is that it's flat, if that was the same, then I'd get on it. Too.
Yeah,
I don't give a
yeah.
fuck.
Okay.
That's what's up, dude.
That was
There you go.
nice.
I'll
You might
take that.
die with that type of mentality, dude.
No, I will be very okay. I promise.
You'll get there, brother.
So the Batman for $2 says the Globies are a mess. I believe this was a comment to some audio issues we were having a little before between the screen share and whatnot. They've all been settled. The entire stream has been fraught with technical difficulties, but I think we got it under control now. Next we have $4.99 from LJ again to the Globies. Do ships disappear over the hump when they sail away? How high do I need to go to see a hump in the horizon? Also, why is flat Earth insanely censored?
Flat Earth is censored? I don't think that's true. People just,
They made the
laugh at it
default
for the most
boxes
part.
for Flat Earth.
They literally came out in Congress and admitted it's censored, brother.
Yeah,
Wait,
for
where?
Flat Earth specifically.
YouTube went in front of Congress and admitted that they censor flat Earth as dangerous misinformation.
If you look
But
at
there's
any
all these
videos,
flat Earth debates that you
like,
participate in.
there
They're
are
on
these
YouTube.
Yeah.
debates, but these
Yeah.
get censored as well. And
There's
if you
like
look
the
under
context.
video,
Okay,
Box.
there's
going
going to be a Flat Earth fact check box.
Okay.
that after
Yeah,
the
but I mean, they
video
have that
There's
for
a
everything.
lot
these
of
days.
voices.
for any
Um,
conspiracy.
The
because of Flat
question
Earth.
was
Yeah,
to the
anything slightly
Globies.
controversial.
So,
Yeah,
Go
not bad,
ahead.
not bad.
NEETPride, what were you saying?
What was the question again?
Well, the thing that lit the fuse was flat Earth being censored.
Oh, I don't think it's that censored. It might feel that way to you guys, but I mean, I was looking at flat Earth videos all day today, and I never left YouTube.
Yeah. No, same. Like even if it is people debunking your content, the people who are debunking it are more popular than you. I mean, like I don't know what else to say. Like
But
if
Still
they're
pretty
showing
fringe
up
position
more
But
in
to
the
hold.
is
algorithm.
it problematic if the people that are debunking us are debunking models that show a pizza in space accelerating upwards?
No,
Isn't that
no.
problematic?
No, whatever
Many of them
confirms their
are.
bias is
Well, no,
okay.
the problem is
wait, hold up.
there's
there's a
hold up.
wide-
Like
there's a
MC
wide
variety of
there are
flat Earth
plenty
MC
of
Tunes got
Okay,
dunked
okay,
on
okay.
so many times, dude.
Hold on,
There-
hold on.
There are plenty
Hold.
of different YouTube.
Guillotine, give me 1 sec. Let's give Flat Earth a quick opportunity. I think Witsit had a point here. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I'll say this, bro. If you can just test it. Go to the search and type in Witsit and type in a specific name of one of my videos. And do you get the video you typed in? No, you get all the hit pieces about me. That's the definition of censorship. It isn't just removal, it's suppression. They promote the alternative position that hates on us, and then they hide the actual position. So I mean, it's easy to say that it's not censored by watching hit pieces. They're more popular than us because they're promoted by the algorithms and we're suppressed. Like provably so. This is not even a debate.
All right.
Or-
Guillotine,
in
go
a
ahead and
different-
respond. Nope, sorry,
Or-
Nathan. We're
or-
gonna let Guillotine go.
or they're just simply more popular. And there are plenty of different YouTubers, like not just MC Toon, but FTFE, Simon Dan, like plenty of them who are not. They don't the whole like they're not strawmanning you with the fucking like it goes up at 9 miles, 9.8 meters per second squared. They're not doing any of that. Like they've gone past all the flat Earth society crap. Like they know what you're saying and they're still debunking you. Like
Let me ask, can I
regularly
ask him a
all
question,
the
Nathan? Let
time.
me ask him a question. Hey, if you type in my name with my
Yeah.
name of my video, and then
Okay,
my video, wait, time out.
what's
My
the-
video has 25,000 views, and
Mm.
instead you get promoted and suggested a video that has 300 views that is just making fun of me. Is that censorship? Yes or no?
Okay, dude,
Not
I
necessarily.
just on YouTube, I just like search for you, and the first thing that comes up is
It's my
Witsit.
channel. Is
Yeah.
my channel. But yeah, search the videos. Go down the videos. They're
Name
all hit
one.
pieces. They're all hit pieces.
The first one is your video, just do it Maui files.
I
And
mean,
the second
it's
one
like
is also your
it's
video.
all
It's relatively
those
speaking
are all the
episode
first
11.
ones. I can share my
Like
screen.
you're not being censored.
Dude.
You're the first two selections. Like
Oh,
Yeah,
what's
it's
what's
the
right
first-
below
it's
the
first
second?
thing
What's
there.
right below the second video?
Then it's
It's
Professor
your
Dave, who's
debate.
like your
It's
main
the
enemy, I
debate that's
guess.
live right
Watch
now.
this. I'll just
It's
share my
this
screen and prove
debate.
it right now. I'll share my screen
Well,
right
here,
prove it.
hold on. Can I share my screen, please?
I have to
Please.
I don't
admit,
dispute
Like,
it. I don't dispute it. It's different.
I
Like,
have
the
to-
fact that you guys are denying that flat Earth is censored is hella weird. It's
Yeah,
hella weird.
Here. There you go.
I would like to
Your
say it's
videos were the first two.
fascinating to me how Witsit turned this question into 600 people like just searching his channel now on YouTube. And he got
Oh,
Yeah,
let's
like,
go.
He did.
No, I didn't do it
Good
on
for you,
purpose.
dude.
debate
Nice,
Witsit,
Mark.
good for
aside,
you.
brilliant.
Oh, Witsit
Hey.
psyoped us. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Can I-
I
can I-
literally should share the screen though, because I'm going to prove what I'm saying.
I just shared
Okay.
mine showing that yours are the top two, and then it's literally this debate is the third one.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I shared the whole screen, but like, yeah, it shows these two videos,
No,
and then
right
okay,
there.
this, yeah, what now? What's
The third
this?
one is
Wait.
this-
Shh, 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 shh. Hey, does this have my name anywhere in the video? No. What's up with this? Oh, a hit piece. What does this have anything to do with me? No. Stupid flurfs. Oh, all these are hit pieces except for a couple versions of me. So why are all the hit pieces put up here? How does Professor Dave come up as the
Mhm.
fourth result for Witsit
I mean,
Gets It?
isn't that
because
just like
this
kind
video
of
has 4
the
million
catch of being a
views,
content
like,
creator? Like
It has
people love
nothing
their
to
drama.
do with me, though.
People love their
It
like
has-
it's all it's
hit
about flat
pieces.
Earth. It has 4 million views and it's about flat Earth. Like it's
See,
going
this
to be
was so
recommended
funny,
just
right?
because it's really popular.
They admitted in YouTube and Congress that they censor flat Earth. And we now have people in 2023 saying that they don't censor flat
And
Earth.
I mean,
they
Hey,
said they
despite
didn't do it.
YouTube
Let-
saying that,
let-
clearly it's not that censored.
There
is
are
because-
there
Yeah.
are
Oh
examples
God.
where people
I don't
have,
trust what
have
YouTube
typed
says.
in. Hold on, there are examples where people have typed in titles of videos that have flat Earth in the title, and those do not show up. But then here's the other thing too about censorship and about how this goes is you do get to things like it was a Congress video where they're saying, yes, because of the flat Earth, we're going to put a box under videos that says, no, the Earth isn't flat. But then here you can get that kind of stuff going against flat Earth. But then what a globe size gets to do is you get things like Elon Musk, who had a live stream video, who he was able to then go back and edit and keep his live status, even though he had edited it afterwards and put it back. And that is a clear, no one's allowed to do that, but they let that go through.
Elon Musk is like the richest guy in the world. He can do whatever he wants. That's not really a good example.
Yeah,
Right.
I would agree with
NASA
that
can
point.
also post edit their live streams, so no one else can. Why would they need to post edit their live streams?
Yeah, I think just most people don't really
don't know.
care that much about flat Earth. I mean,
It's not about flat Earth. Why is NASA allowed to live stream a rocket launch and then post edit it when no one else on YouTube can post
Because
edit
there,
live
well,
streams?
there are literally boring parts.
I agree
There are
with you
parts that
on-
nobody
about NASA,
wants
by
to
the way.
watch.
No,
Like,
they don't. They
like,
don't. Wait, time out. They don't edit the boring parts. They edit the rocket launch landed on 2 pads accidentally, so they took one of the pads out.
And
nothing
it
to do with
doesn't
boring
matter
parts.
if they
Wait,
edit boring
whoa.
parts or whatever they're editing.
have it
if
recorded.
Someone, hold on. If someone is looking in the future and they're looking for videos and they see these live videos, they're innocently gonna be watching that video and thinking it is legitimate what happened when they were live streaming it. That's the problem with the editing, is that you can go back in and change it, and now someone is thinking they're seeing literally a different reality of what was going on at that time.
Yeah,
Can we
because
all
the
agree that
the
censorship is
photos
bad?
Yes, I'll agree censorship is bad, but
Okay, cool.
but the photos and videos from the past are crappy. Like they suck. Like we want better photos and videos than that. I don't understand
You
what
still
the
don't
point
have
is
them
of
though.
like. We do have them. So I mean, I showed you the examples of ones that were done before Photoshop, and just because a photo is Photoshop doesn't like just because like if I get a photo of a deer, like just because I photoshopped like the photo a little bit doesn't mean that the deer didn't actually exist. Like I
Yeah,
don't,
but you can
I
also
don't-
just take pictures of models, which they admittedly had back in the 50s, and
Or-
Photoshop existed in the early 1800s. Just because you Google it and it
when
says
according to whom?
1979.
And
Yeah, dude,
the
they
military does
doctored
have advanced
photos in the
technology, too.
1800s, dude. They doctored photos in the 1800s. It's well known. They used to do
Okay,
they used
I've
to do
never-
spiritual imagery. You would take a picture and it would your loved one's spirit would show up in the picture. It's because whenever they're actually developing the photos, they would add that person in there as a scam. This is in the 1800s,
Okay.
bro.
I've never heard of that, but perhaps that is true. But
It's all good,
I
brother.
do find it a little preposterous to think that every photo, every video that NASA's ever produced is not that all of them are wrong. Perhaps some of them are fake. I don't know. Perhaps
Well, they
perhaps
do
some of
admit
them
to
are.
some
but-
being CGI, like Robert.
which one's
Sure,
real?
some
says it
videos are
has to be
CGI.
Photoshop.
Like some videos generally in the world are CGI. That doesn't mean that the ones that aren't CGI are somehow fake.
Which one's real?
Yeah,
I want to
'cause
let
if
Globe
some
have
are
the
fake,
final word on this question,
globes,
and we'll
which
get to the
size
next
of the
question,
Earth,
guys.
which size of America is different? Is true.
I don't. Well, there are different ways to measure the size of America specifically, but the size of the Earth, I don't have it pulled up, but I can pull it up with whatever they accepted.
24,901.
So how does
I wouldn't doubt
how
that's
does
like
America
super far
change from half a hemisphere wide to a third of a hemisphere wide?
Oh, that's
When
the
when does
map
that
projection.
change? Yeah.
No,
well,
no, they're
and that's
images. They're
also
supposed
Yeah, they're images.
there are different angles.
So they
it's
are
different.
stitched together images.
Well, let
Some
me
of
help you out
some
here.
of
Let me
them
let
are,
me let
some
me
of
help the
them
globe.
aren't.
Let me help the globe out here, Nathan. Just so you know, if you take a globe in your room and if you take the picture from different angles, different distances, you can make the same land masses look bigger and smaller. For sure.
Yeah.
So that's what their argument is. Their argument is that it looks like
yeah.
that because it's different angles and different distances.
All right, I want
Okay.
Globe to go ahead and have the final word here right now.
I'll
go ahead.
concede that NASA's full of shit. I said that in my intro. I just think you guys are throwing the baby out with the bathwater. There's
I'm
better.
about to be
I
a
will
flat
not.
earther, bro.
I think
Did
we
you
can
drink
hit
the
on a
Kool-Aid?
possible future debate topic: is flat Earth censored? 'Cause,
Yeah, for real. 'Cause that's crazy.
Yeah,
I didn't know
you
people
can
would
debate
deny
that
it.
I
woke
will
be able
up
to put
all
it up on
four
your
of you
channel.
pretty hot, pretty quickly. So let's move on to some more super chats, shall we? We got Medicinal Mass Media having an after show at the Medicinal Mass Media Discord servers. So if anyone wants to head over there, they paid money to have me announce it, and then there it is. I did so, and they immediately sent another $5 to ask Witsit, why do boats have to constantly tip their nose down while going over the curve? Obviously on a globe, but boats wouldn't have to on a flat Earth.
Dude, I've been in the trenches for years and I've never heard that
That's
in my
gotta
life.
mean planes.
That's got to be a joke, dude. Some flat earthers making fun of. Okay, I don't know, but yeah, dude, if the globe was real, boats would not be dipping their nose down on the globe. So that's super weird to me. But boats have to make sure that they kind of go into the water as it waves and oscillates, right? And it swells. So if they do dip their nose down, it kind of makes sense based on the actual undulations of the water itself. I've never heard that. That's the funniest thing I've heard all night. But yeah, there's the answer if it is true.
All right, we got Nominal sends $5. Not really a question. Don't know what happened here. Let's see if it sparks anything with anybody. JFK Jr. spoke against secret societies subverting the country. And then, ...
Got smoked.
I threw it up in the air, and I'm just waiting for someone to catch
Got
it.
assassinated.
Got popped, son.
Not disputing that.
Yeah.
I think
The
I mean,
conspiracy that he didn't even really get killed that day. If you want to really go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I mean, just because okay, fair point. I'll agree. Yeah, it's totally fair. The government does bad shit. That doesn't mean that everything they do is terrible and
Well, we
that they're
shouldn't
trying
just-
to deceive you.
We shouldn't blindly trust them then, right?
Yeah, we shouldn't.
I mean,
I
they're
don't blindly
literally
trust
willing
them.
to-
Yeah,
and
I don't trust the government at all.
Yeah,
Except
I
their
don't have to trust the
images.
government. I don't have to trust the government to know that the Earth is a spherical.
No, man, I
shape.
gave flat Earth like I looked into it like pretty extensively. Like I've watched a lot of these debates and like I don't know, it just doesn't add up to me.
I may
Well, go
have
to my
messed-
channel.
I may
Go
have
to my
messed that
channel and
question
watch
just a tad.
Skull and Globe.
Okay.
It looks like they immediately right after like sent another one that just finished the sentence of just make up 95%, and then they just last couple words is we're not in the center.
Oh,
Okay.
well, it's okay. You're still special, even if you deny that you're special and in the center, brother. All good.
And
Alright.
the globe does claim dark matter and energy, which is 96% imaginary, theoretical, hypothetical, substance that we can't measure, weigh, quantify, or have
Yeah.
any interaction with.
But that's science, Nathan.
No,
Come on.
it's
No, it's math.
the dark
religion.
matter, dark energy. I agree.
math.
There's something else going on there. Like it's that theory is not like 100%. The science is not settled on that. You know,
Is your
Well,
name
it's
also
not
Austin,
settled
bro?
science.
it is. It is.
Nice, brother. Austin, check this out. Did you know that if the Earth was in the center, you don't need dark matter or dark energy, and all the math and observations
Yeah.
just immediately
I
work
heard
out?
Zerka said that in some debate.
Zerka, that's my boy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm just letting you know. I'm letting you know. It
Right on.
may be in the center if all of a sudden everything works out when we
Austin,
treat
what
it
was
like
that penny analogy you gave? Pennies in a desk?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like relativity predicted that there would be 100 pennies in the desk, and they went to the desk and they found one penny. Instead of being like, "Man, my theory's wrong," right? Clearly, it predicted 100, but there's only one. They said, "No, actually, there's 99 invisible pennies, and we can't find them or define them, but I promise they're there, and our theory is still correct." It's
That's
so
why your
goofy.
desk is still on the ground.
Yeah.
So like, let me just say something real quick. I hate how a lot of science has become super dogmatic. It oftentimes it really does like feel like a religion. Like, do you guys believe in plate tectonics?
Well, I believe that if they're
Yes.
no dinosaurs are sus. dude.
Okay,
That's
but
sus,
plate
bro.
No.
plate
Big
tectonics.
reptiles.
People used to not believe that was real for the longest time. It
Plate.
took until after like the first person to theorize it died. After he died, then eventually people got around to it. But yeah, there's too much dogma in science. I'll totally concede that.
I wouldn't
And
even
there are
really
people
concede
who do
that.
lie to try to
Science
pass
is-
agendas in science as well. The bone wars and everything. People will
Absolutely.
try to be fraudulent to get claims made on behalf of their renown. And that is a
Once-
and scientists
Oh.
also don't always peer review and look
The
over
crisis of
look over
reproducibility.
experiments and
Anyone heard of
everything.
that?
Yeah,
Especially in,
there's no,
like
the
medicine,
repeatability is a
psychology?
huge thing.
All right, let's get on to some more questions,
Sure.
sir. You guys were just out for a beer. You forgot you were live on YouTube. We got Cool Biko for $5, just exclaiming, "The globe model is taught in every school in the world. Let's go."
Hey, and
It
under the
says-
globe in every classroom is a sticker that says not for educational uses. Just like how on the side of a mask it says not for medical uses. I shouldn't go there, but it says not
Now
for-
in the vast majority of them, so is like there's hey, do you identify as a spaceship, Jimmy? So I mean, who cares what the school teaches? It's retarded. But I have to back out again. I'm sorry. I tried to turn off my camera, it doesn't work. So I will be back, and I take the L for this stream.
You
I'm
better
sorry.
come back because I got a bunch
Uh,
of questions on deck that are like direct.
I'll come back in less than 5 minutes
All
or
right.
2 minutes.
But the next question we can move right on to from Nominal for $2. Imagine a theory so bad dark matter can't fix it. So did you
I'll
guys
go there.
imagine that? You have a comment for it?
It's flat Earth. Is the answer flat Earth?
It does. They don't specify. They're just saying imagine
No,
a
because
theory.
imagine a theory is so bad. Well, flat Earth.
Oh, okay.
Well, but flat Earth,
Agree
good.
on that one.
Luckily, the flat Earth doesn't need to rely on a substance that's 100% imaginary and 96%.
True. Yeah, no, that was a joke. It was a joke.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
mean-
I'm quite serious in my response.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's.
I mean, just because something's a theory does not mean that like I don't get the implication that y'all are trying to make
Well,
there.
and I'll throw it right out there. Like that's why I throw out the dark matter, dark energy thing is I like to create a parallel between like when the flat Earth, because flat Earth we don't claim to know everything, every phenomena, and know measurements, sizes of exoplanets and everything.
Nor does globe Earth.
They kind of do, but like the thing about a flat Earth is that like we consider that there could be different options, different explanations for things, and so we're still kind of working through these things. But like some people on a flat Earth model, there's actually a divide. Is there an ether or is there not? There are some people who think there is, some people who think there is not, and I do personally think there's an ether. But that is something that I also, just like dark matter, dark energy, I cannot weigh it on a scale. I can't tangibly interact with it. I can explain that it causes certain phenomena, but it's a philosophical thing, which I will admit, but it sets up certain frameworks that you can use to make predictions and whatnot. But
What it seems, sorry, you good?
yeah, no, go ahead.
What it seems like to me is that, yeah, the globe definitely makes, you could say it makes more predictions, and I would say, yeah, it does make more predictions than Flat Earth does.
Claims or
But
predictions?
I think it more accurately predicts reality. I'll put it that way, more accurately predicts what happens in reality. And because there are more examples of that, the problem that I have with Flat Earth is that so often the examples that you're using in this case are like you're saying that something could fix it, and the reason you can say that is because you can just kind of make it up. It doesn't really have like, whereas it feels like more often when the globe Earth predicts something, it's like, oh, well, it predicted that because this probe went to X position and did yada yada. Like there's some concrete logic that is based in science why we did it. And whenever I feel like we try to drive down to like the core reason why y'all believe something, it just gets into word salad. Like I hear y'all talking
Yeah,
and
like
whatever.
the whole like geometry stuff you were talking
Yeah,
about. Like
when
I
that
kind of
happened,
zoned out, man. It's too esoteric. You
no.
gotta dumb it down.
Here's something with like word salad and stuff, and like especially with someone like Austin, he says a lot of words, but he says things that are very similar to like the people who were part of the early on setting up of our like electrical field theory and everything, like Steinmetz and Heaviside and these people. There were people back then who were ether advocates, and they were talking about how like we have what the ether essentially is it's like a background. It's some ubiquitous fluid, and it allows for an interaction of the electric field, the magnetic field, the electromagnetic field, and it's able to account for like differences when you're moving a magnet against a coil versus a coil against a magnet. There are differences. The ether is the medium that allows these interactions to take place, but these fields are here and we can measure them. And these people back then who were helping set up our electric system, they were using the ether framework to try to go towards these predictions and set
Yeah.
things the way that
So my point here would be, again, science evolves. Like just because people in the past used an ether doesn't mean that there is actually an ether. Just because people in the past used Newtonian physics and there were times where Newtonian physics accurately predicted something doesn't mean that it wasn't surpassed and bettered by Einsteinian physics. Einsteinian physics merely made Newtonian physics into something that was more accurate at more extreme examples. And so there are times where in the Newtonian framework, this less good framework that includes, I don't know whether they were including the ether there, but just because people in the past did something a certain way and came to a conclusion a certain way, and that conclusion is correct, that does not thus mean that because we do something differently now, the methodology is completely different now, that it somehow is wrong or that it doesn't work. And that feels like a lot of what y'all get at. You go to like the Aristophanes or these people who lived 2,000 years ago, and you're very keen on saying like, oh well, we don't have proof of them doing this. But the fact of the matter is like, okay, even if we want to say that what they did just didn't happen, whatever the story says, whatever the prediction he made was accurate, very accurate for that time. And so it feels like y'all want to nitpick very deep in the past, but you don't want to address the reality of like the modern day. Like we have very good science that shows that all the evidence accumulates in y'all being wrong, basically.
Okay. Well, and I agree with parts of what you're saying in the sense of like you can have a starting position that might not be accurate, but you can, because of your predictions and your premises that you set up and everything, you might be able to determine things in our actual reality, even if you are wrong. Part of why it's good to question things is because it gives you different perspectives to look at. So you might consider new variables or something to adjust. So I do agree with that, but then like Eratosthenes, the thing about if he did something 2,500 years ago, science is science. So like repeatability is a thing. And so you should be able to repeat, even if he was fake, if he did this story, you should be able to go out and recreate doing the similar methods and everything and try to get similar results. So I do agree.
We do, and it works. That's the thing. We do, and it works. We have more accurate methodologies now, so we can get more accurate numbers than whatever Aristophanes got with the sticks and shadows and crap. But that doesn't mean that we don't get very similar to the number. And like I said before, just because his methodology wasn't the most accurate doesn't mean that he wasn't accurate for his time. And like I said, science betters itself, and thusly we get more accurate.
But
You know,
anything you do
Alright,
is
alright,
measured
someone
on
did-
a
alright, let's-
sum, off of an
let's-
apparent size.
Witset's
You're measuring
back.
apparent
Let's
size.
move on to some more super chats. At this pace, we're gonna be here all night, and we just don't have it. So, I believe Witsit. Can you tell me, is WG? Would that be someone calling out you in a short form? You think? I think so.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So WG, explain the impacts of meteors and asteroids that we have on planet Earth.
Yeah, the vast majority of the claimed physical impacts are like yet to be verified. But even if it did happen, I believe there's actually like a gradient density layer of plasmas that turns into potentially a super solid at some point. And there's a superfluid above us, which ironically mainstream physics is now saying dark matter is a superfluid. It looks like the flat earthers weren't so crazy after all. Long story short, superfluids based on cyclical electrical discharge could cause an actual piece to break down and come off from above us. If that were the case, like I said, the vast majority of these assumed impacts are just looking at craters in the ground and assuming that a rock hit it, even though there's no rocks there, there's no debris there. And we know that underwater, under earth water causes those exact same formations. So
It's like
There you go.
bubbles coming up. And to the opposite of what he said too, we actually also can get supposed meteorites that have no crater, but they're these gigantic slabs. The Truth is Stranger Than Fiction YouTube channel has a meteor coverage about where he talks about like the biggest meteor in Namibia, I think. And there, like, there's no crater, but it's a huge piece of metallic ore. So yeah, sometimes you get craters, sometimes you don't. And yeah, underwater. Okay. And so good. Yeah. Nice. Austin. Nice.
Okay. Awesome. LJ199 said globe. So this is to the globe folks. How did you isolate gravity from electrostatics?
I'll admit, I do not have the physics
Guillotine-
or math capability to do so.
Oh, your audio was rough there for a sec. Say it again.
Was it? Okay. I do not have the math or physics capability to do that. No, I haven't isolated it.
Yeah, same. Sorry.
well, it's all good. It's physically impossible to isolate it because everything that exists is electrostatic. So
Everything
welcome to the squad, bro.
I don't know about that,
$2.
but okay.
$2 from Dr. Tapioca Weasel. For flat side, does a gas always fill vacuum? Question mark. Heart emoji.
A gas will fill the available space that it can take given the energy that the molecules have. It can go up to a certain height in a container.
It's my spot. 1 sec. Okay, here we go. Cool Biko, $5. Who would notice being on a merry-go-round that rotates 15 degrees per hour?
Light instrumentation, that's very accurate.
Exactly. Wow. He smoked that question pretty quickly.
All right.
Next.
I set it up. It got knocked down. So we go back to nominal for another $2. Why does Flat Earth get a pinned wiki link on tube?
Takes you right to flat. Wait, is that for flat Earth side?
Oh, you're talking about like the context
Yeah.
box?
Yeah.
I'm
They're asking
literally
why.
reading
Because
it.
it's controversial. Because like the people who run YouTube don't like flat Earth. I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's just
Or,
the
hey,
people who run
Austin, can-
YouTube got like
Austin.
a grudge against you guys.
Do
I
you
get it.
agree a lot? Do you agree a lot of stuff that like actually may be true or has truth to it gets censored by the mainstream and fact checked?
Yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
I think flat Earth's going a little bit too far for me.
I hear you, brother. You'll get there. It was intense for me at first.
There's a lot of ancient entities behind the lies. Society's been trying to set up a globe for a long time. There's very
You know, maybe I'd be
I
more
don't know about
receptive
that.
to flat Earth if there was like less religious talk in it. I
Well,
don't
no,
know.
I mean, that's what I'm
can't
saying.
take
I
it
try.
seriously.
I leave it out. I'll leave it out.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
But do you agree
I
that
feel
if
like-
the Earth was in the center of the cosmos, all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, if the Earth is in the center of everything that exists, something had to put it there. So that's why people end up believing in a creator.
I just want
because
an
of flat Earth.
explanation that doesn't require a god or us being in a simulation.
that
guess,
sounds
Yeah,
like a
my
bias.
other question is,
or-
how do you know that?
Yeah.
No, no,
that's
no.
the
So wait, what's
problem.
the what? Wait. Are you saying that the Earth could be in the center of the entire universe and there not
It
be?
could be theoretically,
How?
but it doesn't mean
How?
that we're special.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't think
How?
flat Earth
Dumb
theory
by
works
dumb
Are
luck,
you
without
dumb
saying
God.
luck.
are you saying you could believe in it so long as there's no creator involved in it? Why would it?
No, I'm saying it makes
No.
it
not be a
harder.
big deal?
It's like a higher
No.
hurdle to clear. Because
Well, I
Yeah,
agree
you
that a
talked
lot
about-
of
you
people,
talked
a lot
about
of people
Occam's razor,
lead
and-
with a lot of people lead with religion, and I
Yeah.
think it's a disservice.
Yeah.
But this is the misconception: is that people believe the Earth is flat because they're religious. What actually happens 99% of the time is people find out about flat Earth, they think it's stupid, and they try to debunk it. They end up not being able to do so. They go try to test it in the world, they still can't debunk it, and then they find out the Earth's in the center, and they're like, "Oh, damn! Does that mean that there could be a creator?" And then they end up believing in a creator. That's the real sequence of events that happens. So it's misrepresented. It's 100%
And you did put in
misrepresented.
your opener, you put that it's religion or people wanting to kind of have a special knowledge over others that they can,
Yeah.
Like
That's right.
community.
to break this
Yeah,
news
they
to
want
people.
community.
But really what does it for a lot of people is the science it shouldn't be. If the Earth was absolutely a globe and moving and everything, we shouldn't get documents that use a flat stationary Earth. We shouldn't get
Well, we should.
the
We
person
should.
who
It doesn't.
created relativity
It's a
saying,
simplification.
no, it just
That's why they
appears like
have-
it's not moving.
Yeah.
These things
Okay.
The simplifications because
sorry.
they.
It,
That's
it,
okay.
it,
I mean-
literally is. Yeah.
So
over
you
some
can't. So
distance-
you can't do
over-
the technology
hold on,
assuming there's a globe.
Hold on.
Okay.
Over some distances, you can assume the Earth is flat. When I walk out of my house, yeah, it doesn't like I'm not like holy shit. There's a literal ball beneath me. No, it looks flat. Yes, sure, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is flat. And so, yeah, there are certain distances over which we can assume it's flat, and it doesn't really change the math that much. But when you look at a big enough, it's why the whole and y'all. I don't know if Witsit you ever did this, but the whole 8 inch per mile squared thing used to be a huge thing among flat Earth, and it can easily be debunked because that mathematical equation is a parabola, and
That's why you should
globe-
stop watching Professor Dave, dude.
Yeah, because if you
that's literally not. That's actually
gotta
not
ask.
who I'm actually referencing it from. What's his name?
Another
he-
anti-flat earther.
No,
if
he's
you-
one of your guys.
if-
He's one of
if
your
you
guys.
take-
Witsit.
Dude,
Hold on,
8 inches per mile squared
Nathan
is,
Thompson.
is
Literally, I'm
eight-
talking
eight-
about that because of Nathan Thompson. used
8
that in a
inches
debate.
per mile squared is
Mhm.
objectively
wrong.
accurate up to 1,000 miles. It's within inches of any equation you use. So if you're making an observation under
Okay.
1,000 miles, it's accurate, which is what we do. So
And
it's just a
So,
talking point.
like I said, you can assume. So I'll grant you that. I don't actually know if it's true, but I'll grant you that. So,
Just a
like
fact.
what I said, at certain points in time, when the distance you need to calculate is not big enough, you can assume the Earth is flat. But like you said, it caps. If you want to say it caps out at 1,000 miles, I don't know if that's
1,000
true,
miles.
but
It is.
okay. Well, even if it is, sure, yeah. So over 1,000 miles, you have to use the actual curvature calculator
Sure.
or the actual curvature formula, which would give you a spherical object.
Well, we
Dude,
can't make observations more than 1,000 miles, man. So like, it's just a talking point to dismiss the fact that we see hundreds of miles too far. And anyone that goes and tests it themselves sees that, and they're like, "Damn, do I keep this to myself, or do I let a
We
bunch
d-
of
we
people that are
don't.
ignorant ridicule me?" That's the question. That's the decision you
we
have.
see that happen we see that happens at very specific times. Even the shadow on the clouds thing I showed you earlier only happens at very specific time of the years.
Hey, did
That's
you
at
know this,
specific
dude?
times
Did
of
you
the
know that
year.
the shadows on the clouds, if you go into a plane, all of a
Mhm.
sudden you'll see it from the top down going horizontally out?
across
No,
the
I've
that was-
never seen that. I'd love
Yeah,
to
so
see
that's
that.
the
I've never
refutation
seen
to. So do you agree that you would stop bringing that up if you then saw that in fact it's just due to perspective, and once you go into a plane, you can see the
What
same
you're
shadow
saying
on
is
Mount
that when they go
Rainier,
into
and
the plane, when they go in the plane, they see the shadow on the cloud.
they see the shadow exactly going down onto the cloud. Correct.
All right, you guys
Not
are off
horizontal.
having a
Going
beer all
down
by
onto the-
yourselves again. So let's move on
Sorry.
All right, sorry,
to
yeah.
another
Sorry.
super chat question.
We're trying to
Um,
save these people, brother. Just kidding.
I'm trying to prevent.
All right.
this from going forward.
Kango44, a big super chat supporter tonight. Question for Witsit. Given your in-depth knowledge of relativity, can you please explain how the sun sets?
Okay, yeah, I thought that was it. Obviously, it's like a joke saying like, "Oh, you think you're so smart, you know relativity, but you can't explain how the sun's at." But yeah, absolutely. So, there's actually different types of experiments showing that if you take like a laser, it'll be a circular light source, and you can change the aperture and all of a sudden the bottom of the light source will begin to disappear with a hard cutoff because it's moving beyond resolvability as you change the observability or the resolvability of it based on the aperture. So yeah, pretty much the sun moves away from you. And eventually it gets beyond the point of resolvability. And since the reception and propagation angles at the bottom are lower, they fall below the resolution angle or limit sooner. So it disappears from the bottom up as it moves through the most dense part of the atmosphere, the highest attenuation rate at the bottom. People can say that that's word salad, but I would encourage you, just listen to the words I said very specifically, bring it back if you have to, and research it.
Listen to Austin's words. The other thing you can do is you can just get a solar filter and you can watch the sun go through the sky, and it never changes its shape when you have a solar filter, and when it goes past the horizon, it just goes past the horizon. I don't understand all of Witsit's perspective,
Yeah,
stuff,
so we have
but
observations with
you
solar
don't
filters.
need any of what he talked about.
We have
So I decided that
he asked how the sun sets on a flat earth. I explained it with science, and we have observations with solar filters where the sun disappears above the horizon. So thanks for playing.
Hey,
it disappears. Yeah, it can disappear above the horizon. Sure, that doesn't mean that it's flat.
Okay, well, thanks for playing.
But what does that mean? Okay, let's just assume it disappears above the horizon. Okay,
it was a question for Witsit. So
why does that make me care?
Well, you claim it would only disappear below a
go
curve.
behind the cloud? Can we not go behind the
hey,
clouds?
can I share my screen real quick?
No.
It's not. Let me just let me share this real quick.
I'm sorry,
you
I'm just asking.
No,
Austin.
we're just gonna go to the. It was supposed to be just a real nice question for Witsit. We got the answer. Let's go forward. We got I'm telling you guys, we got pages still to go.
All right, I can. Okay.
No,
all right.
I'm not
Yeah, let's.
after-
Can we
I'm
all
after
agree to
leave
speed
soon.
through them, please? Can we all agree to speed through
Well, I'm
them?
not
Yeah.
saying even
Yeah,
speed
I'll
through them, but you guys are so likable and friendly with each other that like I just feel like I should be the barmaid and just start pouring some
Yeah.
pictures. And then
No, I'm saying speed through them. Like I'm saying that.
Yeah.
all right. So Felix offer
you go,
sends
Ken.
$10.
Yeah,
Cool.
Guillotine.
He immediately right after sends another $5 to says macaroni put the nail in the globe coffin. I'm sure the globies don't know what I'm talking about. Witsit, please do the honors.
Macaroni.
Macaroni.
Macaroni,
Well, you can use-
Marconi, put the nail in the globe. coffin.
Marcone. Marconi.
Oh,
Marconi.
oh, Marconi. Okay, yeah, I got you. I
I'm
got you.
French, man. What do you want from me?
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Carry
Radio
on.
transmissions in the early 1900s, they were projected to only go out maybe a couple hundred miles because the Earth's curvature should block them. But in fact, he sent the transmission out over 2,200 miles. And they said, you can't do that, bro. The Earth's going to block you. So I'm going to try anyway. First attempt was successful. First attempt was successful. And it went 2,200 miles and it hit the target. So they invented the ionosphere, claiming that it must have bounced from space and came back down, right? Because the Earth should have blocked it. So yeah, Marconi's radio transmissions, early 1900s, debunked the globe. Since then, they claim the ionosphere is 40 megahertz. And so ionization will reflect radio waves. So that's what they claim happens. It reflects back down from space. But we have radio transmissions over 100 megahertz that also go over 2,800 miles. And anything over 40 megahertz would penetrate the ionosphere. So if it's a higher frequency, it penetrates it. So the globe's been debunked with radio transmission. So shout out to Marconi. It went 2,200 miles. Should have only gone 200 miles.
Dude's a real one.
Thanks for playing. Yeah.
Apologies to Marconi if he's listening, but I don't.
Macaroni.
That's his nickname. The big cheese.
The
I
big
can read
cheese, baby.
good. All right. Kango 44, another $10. It's a bit rich for flat earthers to talk about censorship. Watch Mark Sargent censor information from his viewers when MC Toon tried to show the evidence Mark wanted.
I don't know anything about that, man. I think it's a lot different if some random flat earther censored a comment and the government works with the world's biggest media company to actively censor a specific ideology. So seems like a bit of a red herring.
I think he did more than censor the comment. I think what they're trying to say is that in flat Earth kind of what creators in general do this is they censor science that shows that they're wrong.
Really? Why does
and
McToon censor me? Why does McToon censor me when I absolutely intellectually eviscerate him scientifically?
I don't know. He has thousands of videos. I don't know which specific case you're talking about, but
it doesn't count. Doesn't
No,
count.
I'm not saying it does. I'm not saying it doesn't count. I'm
He
just saying
mutes
that,
me.
like,
He mutes me and doesn't let me talk when I debate on his channel or against him because he gets destroyed. So it's ironic someone would ever dare complain about him being censored.
sorry, I'm not saying he's censored. I'm saying that the flat Earth creators are doing the censoring of the accurate science that disproves them, or
Except that we haven't
shows
heard
that
any
they're
tonight.
wrong.
Maybe next time.
I mean, I presented some of the beginning, which we didn't really talk about much.
Yeah, because the
I told you
ring-
I'll
the
address
ring
your
laser-
claims. I'll run your claims down.
They're light work, bro. It's like
Okay.
we just went in and started warming up like ring laser
Okay, all right, let's see
gyros.
it. Let's see it. Yeah.
Okay, ring
we
laser
can
ring
talk
laser
about that.
Let's not get
gyro
into
is this.
laser locking now. We're focusing in on one thing here. Okay.
Watch, give me 30
we're going
seconds. Give me 30
question by
seconds.
question.
30 seconds. Okay. So ring laser gyros, 15 degrees per hour. That's actually called the Sagnac effect. Sagnac discovered the effect and said it was based on the vortex in the ether. If you combine that with the Michelson-Morley result, which did show a fringe shift, shows that the Earth has to be stationary. There's a variant speed of light. There's not even agreed upon relativistic application or explanation for the Sagnac effect or the ring laser gyros. There's like 15 different academic theoretical explanations. No one can figure it out. And since then, in 2004, Wang used millimeter precision radio waves to show that there's a linear specific variant direction preferred propagation rate of light, and that completely debunks relativity. It debunks the idea that the Earth is moving. The ring laser gyro debunks the globe Earth model if you actually research it.
While at the same time supporting the ether, which would carry the light in one specific direction.
Like a stream and swimming with it.
Going back to what I've talked about
Heard.
before, just because the creator of a certain technology says something does not mean
Didn't
that
say
that
that.
thing that they said is accurate.
That's not what I said.
well,
I
you're
said,
saying
I said,
it's based off the ether and that
said
that's not true.
I said subsequent, much more precise tests have shown that the propagation rate of the light is preferred in a specific direction, meaning it's faster in a
So is there
specific
a-
direction. It's been proven with millimeter precision in the 21st century with radio waves. And
Yeah.
relativity claims that light is constant in all
Yeah.
directions and all reference frames. It debunks the idea. It's just like swimming with the ether drift down a stream. Michelson-Morley combined with Michelson-Gale-Pearson debunks the idea that the Earth is moving. There hasn't been a rebuttal in like 7 years.
I mean, there has been. It's the ring laser gyros, the fact that they record a 15 degree per hour drift every single time that they are used. The only time where you see any variance from that is when you're moving them up and down, when you're changing part of it. If you leave them still, every single time it has ever been used, the ring laser gyro will record a 15 degree per hour drift.
You get
That is not true.
Different elevations, and it's recording the rotation of the ether. It never will record.
No, it's
anything about
not.
going
It's
around the
just
sun.
moving. It's just you're moving it. If you just
it has to
leave
be
it still, if you just leave it still and let it just hold on, if you just leave it still and let it just be attached to the Earth, which is theoretically according to our side rotating,
Your religion,
and
yeah.
thusly it shows that religion. Okay, great, yeah, that's a good one. But
It is a religion,
literally
but
it's not. But okay, it literally shows every single time a 15 degree per hour drift. I don't understand what you.
Can I ask you a
understand
question,
about
bro?
this.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
So the truth is, it actually varies within 2%, and it's whatever. But this is what I want to ask you. So why does the effect happen faster in one direction, which is east to west, than all
Which
the
effect?
other
What
directions?
effect are we talking
The
about?
the interference pattern, which is based on the propagation rate of light. That's what a ring laser gyro does. It uses the interference. Okay, why does the light go faster east to west than any other direction, and why does it go even faster when you increase altitude?
I don't know that it does.
Okay,
I've never seen evidence that it does.
So if it does, do you agree it debunks the idea that the Earth is spinning?
No, not necessarily, but
why would it change with altitude? It should stay the same relative to latitude.
It changes in altitude when you're moving it. If you take it at one altitude, if you take it at 1,000 feet, it will record 15 degrees. If you take it at 2,000, it also records 15 degrees. If you just leave it there. What y'all are
so do
talking
you
about
agree? Do you agree that if it's not moving and you took it to a mountaintop and it measured something different, it would debunk the globe?
No, I don't. If you took it to a mountaintop and it's not moving, it wouldn't record a 15 degree per hour drift. It wouldn't record that anywhere.
Why? Wait. I'm saying according to the globe, the Earth, according to the globe model, the Earth is a sphere. So based on what latitude you are, you're going to measure a specific precession. It's going to stay the same no matter what altitude you are. It's just based on latitude on a sphere. right? Okay, well, they've
Okay.
done this test and they've shown that when you go to higher altitudes, the propagation rate increases with altitude. The closer you get to the sky, the greater the effect is, and it's always faster in one direction. According to relativity in the globe model, it should be the same in all directions. It's been disproven way in
Whoa,
2004.
So, but if you're just changing the altitude, why is it changing which direction makes it? I don't understand what you're getting at here because all I'm saying,
Going up in elevation and going in a favored direction show an increase in the speed of light.
Exactly. And that can't happen on the
that
globe.
increase.
Yeah.
As
why
opposed to
can't
constant
why
light.
can't that happen? That's not even what I'm talking about. What I'm saying
is
is that why
what
does
you're
it
talking about.
record the 15-degree power drift every time?
It's
Okay.
I've
measuring
never
the
seen it
ether.
not do it.
It's measuring how fast the sky spins, and there's an ether drift that spins with it. But if you
How do you
increase
know
in
that? How do you
altitude,
know that?
if
Oh,
you
you're
wait,
how do you
wait,
know
wait,
that?
if
There's
you
a
increase in
logical assumption there.
altitude, if you increase in altitude, you're getting closer to the movement. So it would make sense in our framework that it would get faster and faster the closer you get to the source of the movement. But in your framework, it should stay the same no matter
Wait.
how high you get. That's been disproven with precise measurements.
Okay, I've never heard of that. Also don't get what you're saying. One, you're
Will
assuming
you
there's an
email me?
ether,
I'll
which
send
you
you
would
all
need
the
to prove.
papers.
Okay, I will legitimately, but I
Alright.
don't get what you're saying with it changes based off of
Altitude.
like I'm not getting what you're saying.
He will
You're saying that it's based
email
off
you
the
that
ether.
information is what he
If
said.
you're at the
Okay.
same
So we'll go to the
All right,
next
all
super
right,
chat.
all right. Yeah.
All right. This next super chat seems very much in the spirit of being read as James. Now, I'm not qualified, nor have I been here long enough to do an impression of James. But for those of you on Team Free James, and if you're missing James, you should all know that he's working hard to get DEBATECON 4 off the ground. And in his spare time, he's trying to get a doctorate. So he's only got a few moments here and there. So here we go with me trying to do James's catchphrase. I don't trust the government, except NASA. Amazing.
Sam Nass.
That's a joke. It's my boy.
Zoom-
Shout out, James.
Zoom just did something. I don't know. I guess looks like we're still live. We're still good. Okay.
Yeah,
got-
the censorship's coming for us, bro. We better hurry up.
I got kicked out of Zoom, but the Zoom's still running, so I'm not sure. Anyways, carrying on, Kango44, $5. Question for Witsit. Do you agree the sky is green? Anyone can go outside and see the sky is green.
Sometimes the sky looks green. Weird question. Let's move on.
Okay. Felix offer again, $10. Another curious thing about all of this is the Radio Act of 1912. A key provision greatly limited their transmitting range. I wonder if the government has ever tried to suppress technology before.
Nah, they would never.
I
Yeah,
think
they
we
have.
have the most
That doesn't
cutting
mean
edge
that they're-
stuff. Doesn't the public have the exact same cutting edge technology that like militaries do? Or are they like a year ahead of us or something?
Yeah, they don't. I mean, it would be pretty weird if you just had like if everybody just had like an F-18 in their backyard. That'd be kind of weird.
We all have GPSs now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's a
lot.
lot of things that the military / NASA have, like, given us that
Yeah.
are pretty cool things, I'd say.
Like what? Name one. Name one.
Better preservation of food is a quick one that comes to mind.
Did you know that
better-
patent actually came from outside of NASA?
I don't know where it came from. I have
Yeah,
been
so
told
they
it's
haven't
hard
come
to-
up with anything you
Yeah.
can even name. I researched this, and turns out all the stuff they claim, some other individual came up with. And then they use our money to come up with some stuff, like maybe 5 things, and then they sell it and make billions of dollars or millions of dollars on it after we paid for the research and development. We should probably give them more money and trust
Okay.
whatever they
So
say.
And they get the prestige of being inventors.
So I agree with Witsit that what he's saying would be bad because it'd be corrupt. But regardless of what you're saying here, what you're saying is the government invests money into cool technologies that do good things, and then eventually the people get those technologies. Yes, we don't all have.
We have to
a
pay for
bazooka.
them after we paid for them to be developed.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they
called
don't
stealing.
have that. I mean, it's not really. It's you agreeing to give the government money to do cool things. That's what I'd say.
Agreeing or
Agreeing
going
pay
to jail.
taxes.
Agreeing
Yeah,
might not be
yeah.
the right word.
No,
You
okay,
agree
sure,
or go
you're
to
right.
jail,
Yeah,
but
I wish
whatever.
taxes were optional.
You're right. No, you're right. You're right.
You're free
Yeah,
to pay or not, but if you don't, we're putting you in a box.
Yeah, like I'm gonna put a gun
Fair
to your
enough.
head, but if you agree, then it was optional.
Fair enough. I agree. For you, Witsit, you're correct. For both of you, you are being forced to pay a tax to an organization that you think is terrible. In my perspective, however, we're paying money for the government to invest in things that are good for us and that
Yeah.
are cool.
So I
You agree they
with
should
you
just
to
be
make it rain
scientific and not
put fires
talk
out
about-
and create rain over crops. But why doesn't NASA ever do any of that? Like, why don't they make it rain and put some fires out or get some food growing in the soil? Why do they?
I mean, the
only
government
focus
doesn't
on
do a lot
warfare
of things
against
that
other
would be.
countries?
Hold on. The government doesn't do a lot of things that would be good if they did those things. That doesn't mean that they're like somehow evil for not doing those things. What you're saying is, well, the government's not doing a thing that I want it to do, and thusly it's bad.
No, I got one
Yes,
question.
the
Why did
government-
NASA doctor their quote unquote global temperature recordings all the way back to the 50s to push the political narrative of
I've
climate
never heard of
change?
this.
No, you can prove it. Why did they
Okay.
doctor they literally admit that they
measure
went
the
back and
temperatures at
doctored
airports.
they went back and admit that they doctored the temperature recordings and then it's made it hotter so that it would go along with climate change or quote unquote global warming. It's hard to have that with no globe. And I want to know, why is it that this scientific community wants to tell me all about how so many of them are gay? Like, how does that have anything to do with science? So they're
People like
pushing
telling you
political.
that they're gay.
They're pushing.
Who cares?
Dude, just Google NASA gay, and you're gonna get like 30 minutes of videos.
People like telling you that they're gay. What's the problem with that? I don't understand.
NASA should
They're
not be
allowed to do
pushing
that.
political agendas and propagandas onto my
Just
children.
because people in NASA are pushing certain things does not mean that NASA as an organization is pushing those things.
No, NASA is officially stamping it. They're an official NASA video. So tell me why NASA's pushing political propaganda when they're supposed to be scientific. That's what I want to know.
You can have political ideals and still be scientific.
They're not supposed to be political. They're supposed to be scientific.
You
But
can't.
it-
What?
but
Do,
it-
wait. So nobody is.
government
Wait. So
organization.
that's what I'm not understanding. So who exactly is allowed to be political in this situation?
Individuals and not particular scientific government agencies. They should be doing
So it's only.
science.
So it's only if you're a scientist who works for the government who can't be political. But if I just work for like Pfizer,
Those
I'm not allowed to
individuals
be
can
political.
have their individual views, but when they are working or when they're representing a company, that company doesn't slap their CEO's political agenda onto the company.
Exactly.
I mean,
It's the fact that
I've heard many
NASA
people
is
on your
putting
side
out.
claim that they do, and I might even say that sometimes they do. But I mean, that doesn't mean that just because somebody in an organization or even a large amount of people in an organization have an agenda does not mean
No, brother, you're not understanding. NASA themselves are putting out official NASA videos about this subject. So that is unacceptable. It's supposed to be scientific and not political.
they can. Who cares? One, who cares?
I care.
They're
I don't-
wasting
one-
time.
one
They're
who
wasting
cares.
time.
I would
Two.
like my
Move
tax
on.
dollars to
Let's
go to
move on.
We've gotten
supporting
like
things
three more
So you don't
super
like everything
chats.
the government does. Boo hoo. I'm sorry, I
So-
can't control that.
We've
Yeah,
gotten
let's
like
teach children
three
they
more
can be
super
spaceships.
chats during that one question. So at this rate, I think we're officially spinning tires. So going on,
Appreciate it.
moving on. Although another good possible debate topic for another time. Nominal $2. Here's another one of those macaroni words. At Pythagoras, it nestles itself in the dark matter. Did I say that?
Pythagoras.
Pythagoras?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
That's a
nestles
tough
itself
one.
in
I
the dark matter.
don't even know what
Uh,
that means.
Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to get at there. Pythagoras was a cool guy.
It came
Except
in
that he
such
was
a
a
while
pedophile.
ago.
Got a pretty good
It was
quote.
probably during the dark matter topic when Witsit was relogging.
Dunking.
Run Boston Bear 499 for Witsit. How far line of sight did those radio waves travel?
2,200 miles in the case of Marconi, and since then we've done 2,800 to 3,200 miles over 100 megahertz. Would penetrate straight through the 40 megahertz ionization frequency of the quote-unquote ionosphere. So up to 3,000 miles direct line of sight should have been blocked by the curvature of the Earth at 200 miles. Physical refutation of a globe. I may have to back out if the next question is not for me. I might have to back out again. I don't know what's going on.
Well, hang in there, man. We'll get there, I think. Kango 44 again, so huge supporter tonight, guys. $20. What's very funny is watching reality denying brackets flat earthers on the internet on a video call. LOL. Flat earthers' general knowledge of how things work is zero.
Yeah,
it's
it's
called an
amazing. We
ad
have ground
hominem.
towers, and we're able to communicate based on those towers and through cables and through underground fiber optic cables and balloons up in the air. Not really satellite.
Yeah, I'm literally using fiber optic right now because like even Wi-Fi is trash, much less the claim of satellites. So that's weird that somehow fiber optic wires under the ground debunks flat Earth. Maybe you can email me and let me know how that works.
And there are 5G towers all over the place, and signal sucks. I'm gonna be real with y'all. My phone service sucks. Like, you can't get services anywhere because there's limits to the penetrating of light. It doesn't just go on. And yeah, it's all towers. It's all the technology is all ground based, and the airplanes and stuff that they can fly up in the air for long periods of time. There's a lot of technology that is not the most readily available, but it all supports a flat Earth.
Another big supporter tonight, Nominal, for $5. 95% of people believe in the globe, but we're the ones that need a community. Come on, man.
Oh man, that's crazy that like the vast majority of people used to believe that stealing people against their will and beating them was good. And then the vast majority of the Babylonian civilization murdered children and ate them. Why would I care what the vast majority of people that haven't researched it, haven't tested it themselves, believed in all kinds of propaganda, don't even know that jabs are bad whenever they have like preservatives that are aluminum and mercury and give all kinds of neurotoxin to children. You don't know the basics, but because most people are ignorant, then therefore we should just throw our hands up and say, oh, you got it. You said something about a community. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, you guys have a community. It's very cult-like. I don't know if you have true communal like concern and love for one another, but we'll accept you with open arms if you decide to research the truth and throw out the cognitus.
And
Right.
even if not, we're praying for you on your way to it.
Yeah, we love you. Sorry if
All
I'm
right.
a little
We-
aggressive.
It's all right. We can see the finish line. We're almost there, folks. Don't forget, one last time, get into that into the links below and support DebateCon 4. Witsit Gets It will be there live if you guys want to see him unlagged. I hear on stage. He does this same trick live on stage, I hear. It's beautiful.
It's refraction in his light, the image that the lights cause him to look like. He refracts heavily.
So Nominal again for $2. Question direct for Guillotine. At what distance is the globe edge?
What distance? It doesn't have an edge.
What?
Seemed
What did
like
Eric watch go over the boat? Go over the what? The horizon, the edge of the Earth?
The leading
Yeah,
sphere
well, it's
edge
your horizon, but it doesn't. A sphere doesn't have an edge.
is a
or a
leading edge of a
spheroid.
sphere. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
no, a spheroid does not have an edge. Sorry.
Leading edge of a sphere from your horizontal tangent.
Felix offer $5. Question for NEETPride. I saw you drinking your plastic-filled fluid water. LOL.
What?
This looks more
Plastic?
like this is maybe another little bit of maybe a minor attack here. I should have reread it or pre-read it a little bit closer, but they're saying plastic-filled fluided water. LOL. Please detox from all chemicals and clean your diet.
That glass?
This is a glass bottle.
Hey,
There you
let's
go.
go, Austin. Yeah, glass, because plastic has microplastics, and when
Yeah,
it
I'm
heats
well
up,
aware
it
of
gets
that.
tons of micro. Yeah. Look at him. He's ready, bro.
Wait.
right.
I thought the government couldn't release anything for us that was bad. So there's no way plastic is bad. Y'all are denying official science.
No, it
stuff.
can be. It could be bad. Yeah, lots of things are bad.
Yellow
Doesn't
7
mean-
in food products
Lots
is not
of things.
just because
Lots of
65432
things are
and one were
bad.
cancerous.
Lots of
there's
things
no
are
way
bad,
it
but
can
if
be
the
bad.
lie makes me uncomfortable, then I just get to assume it can't be
No,
true.
no, it's not that at all. It's actually just that lots of people lie and that lots of people are bad. And just because some people lie and are bad does not mean that every single thing is a lie and is bad.
Well, we don't think everything's a lie. They tell you what
No, I mean, you
temperature
kind
it
of
is
do.
outside.
You kind of
No.
There's a
do.
lot of
A
lies,
little bit.
not all.
That's
Just
that's
a
called a
little
straw
bit, just
man. Poisoning
not
the well.
really.
Poisoning
Not
the well.
really.
Because
I mean,
Austin literally
I
said
can be
earlier in this
poisoning the
debate
well
that
and
there
still
are
be
points
correct.
of that we see light in the sky, and there are these points that they're looking at and taking in through their optics a certain spectrum or wavelength of light. We're able to see those. That's not a denial that they artistically render it later on and everything and make it look, pretty and all that is a separate thing. But I mean, there's data that isn't denied.
I still love you guys, though. You guys are good. You'll get there.
All right. 3 more to go, guys. 3 more. Here we go. Nominal. His last one, or their last one. $5. If space was fake, we wouldn't have Velcro. Change my mind.
Ugh.
What about the burrs in the woods that stick to your clothes?
Velcro wasn't even truly invented by NASA. It was invented by an individual, and then they absorbed the patent, and then some mainstream article told you that NASA made it. And even if they did make it, that wouldn't somehow make a vacuum sit adjacent to to a pressurized system. It wouldn't somehow make like everything bend and warp as concepts. What NASA made Velcro, so they must be going out into deep vacuums. Like that's just weird.
Okay, so Run Boston Bears, last one here. The paper, modified Sagnet experiment for measuring a time travel difference between counter-propagating light beams in a uniformly moving fiber. Ryong Wang, okay, this person, I shouldn't have commented I was French now because they're really...
All right, I'll help you out.
I think they're trying to reference a paper, yeah.
Yeah, he's quoting the name of a paper by Wang, and it's very important, and people should look it up if they've never heard of it, but it is about the very things we were talking about earlier. It's called Modify Sagnac Experiment for Measuring Travel Time Difference Between Counter-Propagating Light Beams in a Uniformly Moving Fiber, and that's by Wang. You should look it up. It's from 2003, published, I think 2004, it was like 2003-ish. And it shows that there's a variant speed of light, counter to relativity, claiming that light is constant in all directions and in all reference frames. And it shows that the interpretation of the globe model, claiming that the ring laser measures the spin of the Earth, is objectively wrong, and it verifies the Michelson-Morley fringe shift detected, showing that the only scientifically viable explanation is that the Earth is stationary, that quote-unquote light speed is variant, and that it's actually based on the directional preference of the ether drift. But no one will ever rebut that. They'll just kind of say, no, cherry pick, blah, blah, blah.
A favored position of light is completely independent and diametrically opposed to constant relative light. And our reality shows a preferred direction for light through the Wang experiment and MMX and all that.
Yeah, I mean, Dayton Miller over 5 million times replicated it.
That's a lot of repetitions.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty scientific. To quote Einstein, if Dayton Miller's results are correct, then the entire theory of relativity falls like a house of cards. That's Einstein's quote.
Right. Well, we made it. We got one left. Before I read it and everything, I just want to say that some of our debaters tonight really had hopes for being finished this quite a while ago. So I just want to thank you very much for sticking it out and hanging out with us and supporting Modern Day Debate. As well as thank you to all of our, and as I said that, we got another super chat. But anyways, thank you to all of our people watching. Here we got a question. So I do have two left now. Kevin Brown says, Wit, could we settle this? A flat earth millionaire hires a private jet and proves there's ice wall or that the earth has an end.
You can't just privately explore past the 60th south latitude. It doesn't matter how much money you have, bro. So
yeah, it'd probably cost like $1 million just to submit a request to see if you get approved or not to be able to go to Antarctica into certain sections of Antarctica.
Yeah. It's literally a minimum of $250,000 just to try to get approved. And then there's additional fines if they suggest that you need to fill out additional paperwork. So it's a cool talking point, I guess.
I mean, you can get jobs at the South Pole. Y'all could go and apply for jobs there.
It's funny. I know someone that was stationed in the South Pole for 6 months for NASA. Yeah. And he's a flat earther and said he never saw a sun.
He can be a flat earther. That's great. That does not mean that you can indeed not get a job at the South Pole.
You can only go to an approved area. Too. Yeah. You can only go to an approved area. So that completely debunks the super chat, which suggests that you can just. Okay. If you guys have to lie about the fact you can't privately explore Antarctica, then you'll never find the truth, dude.
Gotcha.
All right. Let's hit this last one. Felix offer again, this time for Guillotine. Did the USA land on the moon? Do any of you Globers believe in conspiracies? In any conspiracies?
Me and Austin were talking about this beforehand. But yeah, I believe in a good amount of conspiracies. I just prefer to believe in conspiracies that I think are real and that there's scientific evidence that shows they're real.
So is the moon landing a conspiracy for you?
No, not at all. I believe Austin actually disagrees with me somewhat on that one, but I not Witsit, other Austin. Yeah, but no, I absolutely think it happened. Very much so.
NEETPride, anything to add?
It's rough.
Again, just like I said in the intro, I think that moon landing didn't happen, and it's the whole flat Earth thing. At least a large part of it is like a disinfo campaign to discredit people who are skeptical of the moon landing.
Period,
I
exclamation
personally
point.
I personally don't agree, but I do agree. There are some conspiracies that are definitely real. Yeah, 100%.
Or maybe they lied about the moon landing so they could claim to have taken a picture of the globe Earth that doesn't exist. And that only real picture, 15 seconds. I became a flat earther because I heard someone claim the Earth is flat. I thought that was insane. That's ridiculous. Then I went and just said, oh, they have pictures of the Earth from space. I'll just go look at one. And then the only claimed real picture of the Earth from space was from 1972 Apollo missions. I had already researched thoroughly and proven that the Apollo missions were fake. And so I knew, wow, that doesn't add up if there's no real pictures of the Earth from space except for the fake missions. So that's why they faked it. That's why they faked it.
I mean,
Well, they
there
faked
are
to win
there
the
are real
space race.
pictures.
We had to beat the
Yeah.
commies, right?
Yeah, you can kill a lot of birds with a stone in terms of government propaganda. You know?
All right. Well, let's wrap things up here. Thank you to all four of you, Guillotine, NEETPride, Witsit, Gets It, and Nathan for coming out and being very pleasant. And it was a lot of fun. Witsit, I'm sorry for the technical difficulties we had, but I'm glad you stuck it out. It's so bad now, it's actually kind of funny because like your point gets, you're talking while everyone else is talking, but we don't hear anything. So it's really fun.
It's funny.
Yeah, so don't forget, guys, DebateCon coming up November 4th real fast. So reserve your seats now. Like I said, James is out there working hard, so let's keep supporting modern day debate. Nominal cents $2 to say 100% Witsit. And we'll hopefully see you all again very soon. I am really hopeful to get to do this again as well. So thank you for the modern day debate community letting me come out and do this tonight. You guys all have a long trip to get home, I think. So let's get out of here. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you, everybody.
Much love.
Thanks, y'all.
guys.
I'll be with you. Jesus loves you.